रिकॉर्ड करना और भी कुछ करना है बस।
You are now unmuted.
जा रहा हूँ, कोई दिक्कत होगा तो कॉल करना अभी।
Okay, so good evening everyone. I hope I'm audible to you. Himanshi, am I audible? Okay, that's okay, that's okay. So today, like my health is not that good, but the thing is we will have a proper class, we will discuss the things. Okay, so just allow me a minute. I'll be turning on my camera also. Okay, Avni, are you able to hear me now? Am I audible? Avni says like I'm not audible because I was not speaking for some time. Now can you please tell me if I'm audible to you? Okay, Avni, just let me know if I'm audible. Okay, Himanshi says I'm audible. Okay. And Koteshwar, am I audible to you? Okay, Avni says yes, I'm audible. That's okay, that's okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so the thing is, we already had various sessions on science and technology. We had 2 sessions, okay, on space technology. So the thing is, we are going to discuss some other issues related to science and technology. Okay, before we progress further, I would like to take you through the topics that we have already discussed, and before that, today let us start discussing some important issues. Okay, some important like issues related to science and technology. Okay, so that day we discussed something about orbits. Okay, हमने क्या डिस्कस किया था? हमने डिस्कस किया था ऑर्बिट के बारे में, राइट? एंड वी डिस्कस्ड वेरियस अदर थिंग्स. सो व्हाट आर ऑर्बिट्स? इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द कंसेप्ट लाइक ऑर्बिट. Okay, so what are orbits? If I talk about like what are orbits, so anything so any idea what are orbits? Like Avni, do you have any idea कि orbit क्या होता है? Himanshi, Koteshwar Rao, any idea? Okay, so any of you having any idea like what are orbits? Okay. Good evening, Ashwarya. Okay, so I asked a simple question like what are orbits? Okay, Avni has answered the curved path of a celestial object or spacecraft round a star, planet or moon, especially a periodically elliptical revolution. Okay, that's all right. So Avni has typed something, okay, that she understands like this is an orbit. So the thing is, as Avni has pointed out, like these are elliptical in nature. Okay, so these are elliptical in nature. So these are the paths that one celestial objects. When we talk about celestial bodies, okay, let us talk about celestial bodies. ठीक है, celestial bodies वो सारे bodies होते हैं, ठीक है. Celestial bodies are those bodies, okay, they are known as heavenly bodies. These are those bodies, you know, that are natural in themselves, like human beings have not made them. Okay, they are natural and they are in the space. Okay, they are in the space. So the thing is, those so some of those bodies are known as planets, some bodies are known as moons. Okay, some bodies are known as moons, and some of those bodies are known as stars. Okay, stars. So the question is, what is the difference between planets, moons and stars? Okay, when we talk about planets, moons and stars, so the thing is, stars are those bodies that has their own light. Why light? Because some kind of reactions are happening on their surface. Okay, because of these reactions they shine bright. Okay, they shine bright. Okay, so they have their own light. But does the planet have light? Does the planets have their own light? No, planets do not have their own light. Okay, planets are also celestial bodies, stars are celestial bodies, planets are celestial bodies. ठीक है, स्टार सेलेस्टियल बॉडीज होते हैं, प्लैनेट सेलेस्टियल बॉडीज होते हैं, मून्स भी सेलेस्टियल बॉडी होते हैं, लेकिन इनके बीच में कुछ बेसिक डिफरेंस है. व्हाट इज द बेसिक डिफरेंस? स्टार्स आर दोज बॉडीज दैट हैव देयर ओन सोर्स ऑफ लाइट. इट मीन्स लाइक सम काइंड ऑफ chemical reactions or physical reactions might be happening, right, on their surface, that is leading to, you know, some kind of electromagnetic radiation generation. Okay, so they may generate different kind of waves and all. So those waves, some of those waves fall in the wavelength of visible light. So we, in general sense, we consider कि stars have their light. Okay, बट प्लैनेट्स आर दोज बॉडीज, प्लैनेट वो बॉडी होते हैं जिनमें खुद की लाइट नहीं होती है. ठीक है, प्लैनेट्स डू नॉट हैव देयर ओन लाइट एंड दे जनरली रिवॉल्व अराउंड अ पर्टिकुलर स्टार. ठीक है, दे जनरली रिवॉल्व अराउंड अ पर्टिकुलर स्टार. जैसे सन जो है हमारे सोलर सिस्टम में, इन आवर सोलर सिस्टम द सन इज अ स्टार. ठीक है, हमारे सोलर सिस्टम में सन एक स्टार है. सन के चारों तरफ क्या है, प्लैनेट्स रिवॉल्व करें, जैसे अर्थ, मरकरी, वीनस, जुपिटर, सैटर्न, ये जो जितने भी प्लैनेट्स हैं, दीज प्लैनेट्स आर रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड द स्टार. ओके, तो प्लैनेट्स आर रिवॉल्विंग इंडिपेंडेंटली अराउंड देयर ओन स्टार. ठीक है, ये इंडिपेंडेंटली रिवॉल्व कर रहे हैं. लेकिन मून्स आर ऑल्सो हेवनली बॉडीज, लेकिन मून जो होते हैं, मून्स डू नॉट डायरेक्टली रिवॉल्व अराउंड द स्टार ऑन देयर ओन. दे रिवॉल्व अराउंड अ प्लैनेट एंड दे अकम्पनी द पाथ ऑफ द प्लैनेट. प्लैनेट जिस डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है वो उधर भी जाते हैं और साथ में प्लैनेट के चारों तरफ रिवॉल्व भी करते हैं. राइट, सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. Let's consider like this is sun, S stands for sun, and let's say, okay, let's say like this is the orbital path for Earth. Okay, for the time being, let's consider this is Earth. Okay, this Earth is actually, you know, rotating, or like it is, what it is doing, it is revolving around the sun. ठीक है, ये क्या कर रहा है, sun के चारों तरफ revolve कर रहा है. क्या, like this earth planet. Okay, this earth planet is revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. ये जो path trace करता है कोई particular planet, ठीक है, अपने स्टार के चारों तरफ रिवॉल्व करने के लिए, इस पाथ को हम बोलते हैं ऑर्बिट. व्हाट वी से दिस पाथ टू बी ऑर्बिट. ठीक है, ये जो पाथ होता है, इस पाथ को हम ऑर्बिट बोलते हैं. राइट, सो लेट्स कंसीडर दिस इज अर्थ. अर्थ इज रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड द प्लैनेट इन एन इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट. ये पाथ को, टोटल पाथ, ठीक है, इसको हम ऑर्बिट बोलते हैं बिकॉज लाइक अर्थ फॉलोज द सेम पाथ. ओके, ऑलवेज टू रिवॉल्व अराउंड द सन, लाइक दैट. ओके, सिमिलरली वी मे हैव अदर, जैसे मून्स के बारे में हमने डिस्कस किया. लेट्स कंसीडर वी हैव अ मून ओवर हियर. ओके, लेट्स कंसीडर दिस इज द मून. ओके, व्हाट दिस मून विल डू, okay, what this moon will do, this moon will revolve around the earth. Okay, it will revolve around the earth in another orbit. तो moon भी अपना, like moon also has a orbit. Okay, it is revolving around the earth, it has its own orbit. Okay, you understanding? So moons are accompanying earth. Earth is revolving, moon is also revolving around the sun. लेकिन moon अपने आप में, moon in itself is not independently revolving around the sun. Are you understanding? It is not independently revolving around the sun. It is revolving around earth and it is accompanying earth wherever earth is going. Okay, like that. So these are known as moons. These are known as moons. Moons are natural satellites ऑफ अ प्लैनेट. एक प्लैनेट का नेचुरल सैटेलाइट है. सैटेलाइट मतलब जो बहुत दूर एक ऑब्जेक्ट है, मतलब दैट इज अकम्पनिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लैनेट. ओके, देन अर्थ लाइक सन कैन बी कंसिडर्ड एज एन स्टार एंड इस टाइप के जो पाथ होते हैं दिस इज नोन एज इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट. सिंपल, ठीक है, वी हैव अंडरस्टूड. Now the question arises, why does planets revolve, okay, around a particular star? क्यों revolve करता है? Anyone having any idea why a planet revolves around the sun, okay, or like why moons revolve around their planet? Any idea, friends? Any idea why they revolve? Okay, Himanshi is saying outside the earth. Okay, why they revolve? Okay, anyone having any idea why planets are revolving around the sun और why moons are revolving around planet? ठीक है, अर्थ का तो एक ही planet है, अर्थ का एक ही moon है. Earth has only one moon, but there are many planets that have multiple moons of their own. Their name of their moons may be different. हर जो planet का जो moon होता है या natural satellite होता है, ठीक है, their names may be different, लेकिन अर्थ का जो natural satellite है, ठीक है, it is known as moon. Okay, so why they are revolving? Savina, I think she is trying to say something.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening, Savina. I hope you are good. Okay, because of gravity reasons. Okay, Avni is saying because of gravity reasons. So the thing is, as you know, we had already discussed, like Newton's law ने क्या बोला? Newton's ने बोला कि every planet, okay, every object in the universe attracts every other object, okay, with some force. Okay, and he has given a formula also that gravity equal to G, you know that force, okay, force of gravity equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. जैसे हम अर्थ वाला हम बात करते हैं, जो फोर्स ऑफ ग्रेविटी है, इट इज G m1 m2 upon r square. So this is like we are not actually discussing these scientific formulas. The thing is we need to understand like if there are two objects, two heavenly objects, heavenly मतलब बड़े बड़े objects जो space में है, let's consider this is planet 1 P1, this is another object, we say it to be P2. तो इनके बीच में कुछ ना कुछ force of attraction होता है. तो क्या होता है, because of force of attraction they may be moving around one another. For example, they may be, you know, moving towards one another like that. But if this planet already happens to revolve around a particular, let's consider around a particular star, so the thing is it is revolving, it may come, it may not be able to hit this planet. ठीक है, अगर मान लो ये static है तो दोनों एक दूसरे को आके टकरा जाएंगे. So there will be a collision. This is known as collision. Okay, there may be a collision. So they may hit one another. But there are certain cases where force of gravity of one body is higher as compared to force of gravity of another body. So since then what happens, like, you know, since let's consider one body is coming, this body is moving like this, okay, because it is moving in this particular direction and this particular body is attracting this body towards itself. ठीक है, मतलब like ये एक दूसरे को attract कर रहे. So they may like there may be a chance कि मतलब like they may start revolving one another by cancelling the tangential force and centrifugal force. ठीक है, cancel करके मतलब एक revolve करना start कर देते हैं. कई बार ऐसा होता है. When it happens, they keep on revolving around one another like that. If it does not happen, then there are chances that that one body moving towards another body may actually hit the other body. Okay, जैसे अर्थ में हमारे पास बहुत पुराने टाइम में like you know बहुत सारे meteors आके impact किया. ठीक है, they actually hit. ठीक है, the meteors are very small bodies. Okay, if they are coming towards earth may have pulled them with some force कि मतलब they are actually coming and hitting the body. So like there are chances of hitting. But like you know this universe is considered to have been formed billions of years ago. ठीक है, more than 4 billion years ago कि universe form हुआ था. तो उसके बाद से ये सारे जो फोर्सेस है दे हैव बीन एक्टिंग, ओके, दे हैव बीन एक्टिंग सिंस देन. सो सम ऑफ द प्लैनेट्स स्टार्टेड रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड वन अनदर लाइक दैट. ठीक है, तो स्टार्स जो होते हैं, जो सन है, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट सन, सन इज वेरी मैसिव, सन इज वेरी बिग एज कंपेयर टू अर्थ. ठीक है, अर्थ के मुकाबले सन बहुत बड़ा है. और जितने भी प्लैनेट, all the planets that are revolving around the sun are actually small, have actually smaller masses as compared to sun. ठीक है, कोई बड़े बॉडी के चारों तरफ ही छोटा बॉडी घूमता है. ठीक है, मतलब छोटे बॉडी के चारों तरफ बड़े बॉडी नहीं घूमते. यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? मीन्स like if moon is revolving around the sun, around the earth, it simply means like earth has more gravitational pull, earth has more mass as compared to the moon. That's why moon is revolving. Are you understanding? A body which is revolving around another body, that another body has more mass as compared to the body that is revolving around it. क्या ये clear है? Is it clear till now? There are a lot of things that
Yes,
we are,
sir.
okay, there are a lot of things that we are going to discuss today. ठीक है, so हमेशा ऐसा ही होता है. ठीक है, कि जो बॉडी बड़े साइज का है वो छोटे बॉडी के चारों तरफ नहीं घूमता है. ठीक है, बड़ा बॉडी अपनी जगह पे रहता है मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम. इफ इट इज रिवॉल्विंग तो छोटा बॉडी बड़े बॉडी के चारों तरफ रिवॉल्व करता है. दिस इज अ जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ओके, दिस इज फ्रॉम अ जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव. ओके, so having understood this, you have understood what are orbits. You have understood what are orbits की मतलब earth is revolving around the sun in a defined path. okay, in a defined path, एक specific path के around earth revolve कर रहा है. तो उस particular path को, ये जो path है, this particular path is known as orbit. okay, similarly if moon is revolving around the earth, okay, if moon is revolving around the earth, then moon is also following a path. मून भी क्या कर रहा है? मून इज ऑल्सो फॉलोइंग अ पाथ. सो मून ऑल्सो ट्रेसेस एन ऑर्बिट. मून क्या करता है? मून ऑल्सो ट्रेसेस एन ऑर्बिट. मून भी एक पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट के अलोंग ही अर्थ के चारों तरफ मूव करता है. ठीक है, उस ऑर्बिट का स्पेसिफिक शेप होता है. ठीक है, एक स्पेसिफिक डायरेक्शन में रोटेट करता है. ओके, कैन एनी वन ऑफ यू टेल मी लाइक इन विच डायरेक्शन डज द अर्थ रोटेट? द डायरेक्शन इन विच अर्थ रोटेट, एनी वन ऑफ यू?
Sir, west to east.
Anti-clockwise.
Okay, I guess Himanshi has answered anti-clockwise and Himanshu has answered west to east, right? Okay, anyone else? Direction in which earth rotates around its own axis. Okay, rotates around its own axis. Okay, Savina is saying west to east. Okay, ठीक है. So the thing is, her answer is right. Okay, even Himanshu has answered it right, and she said anti-clockwise. That is also partially correct. Okay, why it is correct I'll say, and why it is not correct I'll say that thing also. Okay, मान लेते हैं, let's consider this is like this is an axis, and let's consider, let me draw the earth. Okay, let me draw the earth. Okay, like this. Okay, so earth seems to be spherical in nature, but earth is actually revolving. Okay, earth is actually following a path like this. किस डायरेक्शन में रिवॉल्व कर रहा है? लाइक दिस. ओके, मीन्स लेट्स कंसीडर, जैसे अगर हम एक डायरेक्शन वो करते हैं, मतलब लाइक आई होप यू गाइस आर अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट दिस कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम. ओके, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम, we have x axis over here, we have y axis, this is known as x dash. Okay, or negative x axis, then this is y dash. Okay, negative y axis. ठीक है, तो ये वाला जो डायरेक्शन होता है इधर वाला, ओके, वॉट एवर डायरेक्शन इज दिस. ओके, जस्ट अ मिनट. ओके, दिस इज नोन एज ईस्ट. ओके, दिस डायरेक्शन इज नोन एज वेस्ट, दिस डायरेक्शन इज नोन एज नॉर्थ, एंड दिस डायरेक्शन इज नोन एज साउथ. ओके, डाउनवर्ड साउथ. ओके, टुवर्ड्स राइट इज ईस्ट, टुवर्ड्स लेफ्ट इज वेस्ट, towards like top is north, towards bottom is south. Okay, this is the direction. So if I draw a similar direction like this, okay, I can say, Amisha, are you saying something?
No sir, it is reconnecting. और actually sir मैंने अभी हाल ज्वाइन किया है.
ओके ओके, कोई बात नहीं अमीशा, आप ना अपने आप को थोड़ा सा म्यूट कर लेना, व्हेन यू हैव टू स्पीक
जी
तब
जी
आप
सर,
अपने
जी
आप को
सर.
अनम्यूट करना. ओके
Okay sir.
okay okay, that's good. Welcome, like Amisha. So here, see over here, like I have drawn this earth, I have drawn this axis. अगर मुझे यहाँ पे डायरेक्शन शो करना है एक्चुअली तो कैसे करूँगा? दिस विल बी ईस्ट, दिस विल बी वेस्ट, this will be north, and this will be south, like that. Okay, so the thing is earth is actually moving from here to here like this, in this direction. Okay, so like if we see from the front side, अगर हम अपने साइड से देखते हैं तो it seems that the earth is moving from west to east. अगर हम इधर से देखते हैं, इस साइड से देखते हैं तो earth seems to be moving from west to east. Okay, if we see from the top side, अगर हम ऊपर से देखते हैं, अगर हम नॉर्थ से नीचे की तरफ देखते हैं, मतलब लेट्स कंसीडर वी हैव अ ग्लोब एंड वी आर सीइंग फ्रॉम द टॉप. ठीक है, मतलब वी हैव अ ग्लोब प्लेस्ड ओवर हियर लाइक दिस. लेट्स कंसीडर माय फीस्ट इज द ग्लोब एंड इफ आई एम सीइंग फ्रॉम द टॉप इट विल बी सीम्ड. ओके, मुझे ऐसा दिखेगा कि अर्थ इज मूविंग इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन. कैसा दिखेगा? एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन. एंटी क्लॉकवाइज एंड क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन कैसा होता है? समथिंग विच इज मूविंग अलॉन्ग दी हैंड्स ऑफ द क्लॉक. जैसे मान लो कोई घड़ी होती है हमारे पास, यहाँ 12 बज रहे हैं, यहाँ पे 6 बज रहे हैं, यहाँ पे 3 बज रहे हैं, यहाँ पे 9 बज रहे हैं, लाइक दैट. ओके, सो हमारे पास जो घड़ी होती है, घड़ी में कांटे कैसे, लाइक हाउ डज द यू नो हैंड्स ऑफ द क्लॉक मूव. ओके, सो इट हैज आवर हैंड, it has minute hand, it has second hand, and all of them move in this particular fashion. They move in this fashion. Okay, दिस इज नोन एज एनालॉग वॉच. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? एनालॉग वॉच. एनालॉग वॉच मतलब जहाँ पे कांटे चलते हैं. ठीक है, दिस आर नोन एज एनालॉग वॉच. जब एनालॉग वॉच में जो इनके हाथ होते हैं या जो हैंड्स होते हैं, इट मूव्स इन दिस पर्टिकुलर फैशन. तो ये जो डायरेक्शन है, दिस डायरेक्शन इज नोन एज clockwise direction. This direction is known as clockwise direction. Something which moves opposite to this direction is known as anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so I just want to ask from you, this is the earth, you know, it is moving from west to east like this. If you see from the north, okay, which direction is the earth moving? Okay, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. And if you see from the south, is it moving clockwise or anti-clockwise? Everyone just answer me this question.
So from north anti-clockwise, from south clockwise.
Okay, from north anti-clockwise, from south clockwise. Okay, anyone else having any other opinion or similar opinion? People, it is very important for you to participate. You may feel these are very
Sir?
basic things. Yes, Amisha. Yes.
सर सॉरी मैं पूछ रही हूँ सर, ये क्या पढ़ा है?
हम स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी पढ़ रहे हैं. ठीक है, बेसिकली हमने स्पेस एजेंसी पढ़ा है और अभी हमें ऑर्बिट्स के बारे में स्टडी करना है. बहुत टाइप के ऑर्बिट्स होते हैं और उसके लिए मतलब वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट प्लैनेटरी मोशंस कंप्लीटली. ठीक है, अर्थ कैसे रिवॉल्व करता है, रोटेट करता है, इट इज़ ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. तो उसी से रिलेटेड टॉपिक है.
ओके सर.
ओके okay, so anyone see people, the thing is it is very important for you to be participative. You may be right, you may be wrong, but it is important for you to participate. Why important? Because once you participate you will have greater involvement. The greater you have involvement, the more you will be able to understand. ये बहुत important चीज़ है. Trust me. Okay, this is very important for you to participate. Like UPSC asks very basic questions, but they ask in a manner that like you should have that applicability knowledge. The whatever knowledge you have, you should be able to apply those knowledge. That is important. Okay, so the thing is there is a body, let's consider a sphere which is moving west to east. If you are seeing from the north side, okay, in which direction will you see this particular body is rotating, whether it is rotating clockwise or anti-clockwise? Savina has already answered, I guess. Okay, anti-clockwise from north or from south? Write down the direction and north south. North clockwise, south anti-clockwise. Okay, this is Mohammad Farid is saying like this: north clockwise, south anti-clockwise. Okay. Himanshi, anti-clockwise from north. Okay, so many people have different opinions. चलो हम लोग देखते हैं. Let us see. Okay, let me consider कि I have a body like this. Let's say it is a spherical body. Okay, let's say like it is a spherical body, and let me draw a this particular thing axis. Okay, ये जो चीज़ है it is known as axis. ठीक है, axis मतलब इसके चारों तरफ ही ये बॉडी रिवॉल्व कर रही है. ठीक है, this is the body, this is a spherical body. This particular body is revolving around this particular axis from west to east like this. ठीक है, if you see from the top, like if you are situated somewhere here over here, from the top if you see this particular body, it will seem, ठीक है, कि मतलब like it is west to east like this, it will seem कि it is anti-clockwise, it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, it is anti-clockwise direction from north. Okay, now another person who is seeing the same body, okay, but he is located in the south. Okay, this is south, this is north. Okay, if he is seeing this particular body, for him this body will seem to be rotating in clockwise direction. ठीक है, for this particular person this body will seem to be rotating in clockwise direction. So many people have answered it correctly. Okay, and many people were in a state of dilemma. आप में से बहुत सारे लोगों को क्लियर नहीं था, डिलीमा में थे. Some people have answered it incorrectly. Okay, so the thing is, this is how you are tested in the prelims exam. ठीक है, question is very basic. Okay, you know what are the steps to be followed. You consider कि एक body हम घुमा रहे हैं, ठीक है, west to east घुमा रहे हैं. अगर हम ऊपर से देख रहे हैं तो like what is the direction like that. Okay, so the thing is, this is what makes the difference. Okay, this is what makes the difference. Whatever you read, but like you should be able to apply your knowledge in the examination. Exam में ऐसे पूछते हैं कि your applicability is tested. Okay, so this is the thing. We have understood कि it rotates from वेस्ट टू ईस्ट. ये अर्थ जो है कहाँ से रोटेट करता है, वेस्ट से लेके ईस्ट की तरफ रोटेट करता है, फ्रॉम वेस्ट टू ईस्ट. एंड अगर हम ऊपर से देखेंगे इट विल सीम टू बी रोटेटिंग इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन. अगर हम नीचे से देखेंगे इट विल सीम टू बी रोटेटिंग इन दी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन. ओके, क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन. ओके, देन अनदर थिंग वी हैव अंडरस्टूड व्हाट. अभी तक हमने क्या समझा, हमने समझा व्हाट वी हैव अंडरस्टूड कि like every planet revolves around their own star in a defined path which is known as orbit. इसको हम ऑर्बिट बोलते हैं. ऐसे मून भी रिवॉल्व करता है अर्थ के चारों तरफ, ये मून का ऑर्बिट होगा. सिमिलरली द सैटेलाइट्स दैट ह्यूमन बीइंग्स मेक, ठीक है, जो सैटेलाइट हम बनाते हैं. Let's consider you are a scientist now. Okay, now if you make a satellite, okay, for earth, let's consider, let me draw earth over here. मान लेते हैं this is earth. Let's say like this is earth for the time being, and let's say this is the axis. Okay, तो ये क्या है, what is this? This is axis. ठीक है, axis मतलब इसके चारों मतलब लाइक इसके चारों तरफ ऐसे ऐसे गोल गोल घूम रहा है, एक्सिस के चारों तरफ घूम रहा है. आई यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? दिस इज द थिंग. ये वाला जो लाइन है दिस इज एक्चुअली एक्सिस. ठीक है, अर्थ कैसे घूम रहा है, इस तरीके से घूम रहा है. ये वेस्ट डायरेक्शन है, ये ईस्ट डायरेक्शन है, दिस इज नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन एंड दिस इज साउथ डायरेक्शन. इट इज रिवॉल्विंग लाइक दिस. इफ आई हैव अ मून, ठीक है, इफ आई हैव मून, सो मून विल बी रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड द अर्थ. मून अर्थ के चारों तरफ, जैसे यहाँ पे मून है मान लेते हैं, तो मून क्या है, व्हाट मून विल बी डूइंग, मून विल बी रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड द अर्थ इन अ डिफाइंड ऑर्बिट. ऐसे किसी पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट में ऐसे रिवॉल्व करेगा डेफिनेटली. ठीक है, सिमिलरली इफ वी प्लेस सम सैटेलाइट्स, ओके, इफ वी प्लेस सम सैटेलाइट्स ओके अबव द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ, अर्थ के सरफेस के ऊपर अगर हम कोई सैटेलाइट प्लेस करते हैं, मान लेते हैं दिस इज नॉट मून. For some time, let's consider this is a satellite that have been made by you people. You are scientists now, okay? You have made a satellite. You have placed that particular satellite at a distance so that like once it is placed over there, it will start revolving. Okay, it will start revolving around the Earth. So all the satellites that we place, okay, all the satellites that we place, they actually revolve. Okay, they actually revolve around the surface of the Earth. but these satellites are named differently. कुछ like क्यों अलग अलग, जैसे हम बोलते हैं सन सिंक्रोनस सैटेलाइट, जियो सिंक्रोनस सैटेलाइट, जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट, लाइक दैट. ओके, वी से डिफरेंट सैटेलाइट्स विद डिफरेंट नेम्स. व्हाई डू वी गिव सच नेम्स? बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑर्बिटल प्लेन इन विच इट इज प्लेस्ड. कौन से ऑर्बिट में हम सैटेलाइट को प्लेस करते हैं उसके हिसाब से हम सैटेलाइट का नाम रखते हैं. ठीक है, मतलब लाइक देयर आर सम सैटेलाइट्स व्हिच आर प्लेस्ड इन जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ओके, there are some satellites that are placed in geosynchronous earth orbit. There are some satellites that are placed in the polar orbit. There are some satellites that are placed in sun synchronous orbit. There are some satellites which are placed in low earth orbit. Okay, there are some satellites that are placed in medium earth orbit, high earth orbit. ऐसे करके होता है. ठीक है, so the thing is, so they are named according to the orbital plane or orbits in which they are placed. ठीक है, जिस ऑर्बिट में हम सैटेलाइट्स को रखते हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम उसका नाम देते हैं. ठीक है, सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट, ओके, लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट को हम LEO से भी डिनोट करते हैं. LEO will simply means low earth orbit. So what are low earth orbit? लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट वो सारे ऑर्बिट होते हैं जिसका जो ऑर्बिटल प्लेन है, मतलब लाइक दैट ऑर्बिटल प्लेन विल बी एट मोस्ट, ओके, विल बी लेस देन और इक्वल टू 1000 किलोमीटर्स. ओके, 1000 किलोमीटर्स फ्रॉम द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ. ठीक है, अगर हम बात करें, ठीक है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से लाइक दिस इज अर्थ. हम मान लेते हैं ये अर्थ है, अर्थ का एक साइड का हिस्सा है. मान लेते हैं यहाँ पे हमने कोई सैटेलाइट रखा. ओके, वी प्लेस सम सैटेलाइट. ये अर्थ से जो मीन सी सरफेस है, सी सरफेस से जितना हाइट ऊपर होगा, ठीक है, वट एवर हाइट इट इज अबव, ये जो डिस्टेंस है बिटवीन बिटवीन दिस मीन सी लेवल एंड दी सैटेलाइट, ठीक है, इस पर्टिकुलर डिस्टेंस, ये अगर डिस्टेंस लेस देन या फिर इक्वल टू होता है 1000 किलोमीटर के. If this particular distance is less than or equal to 1000 kilometer, then this particular orbit, now this satellite is placed over here, this satellite will be revolving around the earth, definitely. Okay, it will be revolving around the earth in a specific orbit, and इस particular orbit को हम बोलेंगे, we will say this particular orbit to be low earth orbit. Have you understood, people? We will say them to be low earth orbit. Okay, so any doubt till now? You can consider this to be earth, you can consider this to be satellite over here. The distance between mean sea level, okay, and the satellite, if it is less than or equal to 1000 kilometer, तो ये सैटेलाइट जो भी ऑर्बिट को ट्रेस करेगा उसको हम बोलेंगे लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट. इज दैट क्लियर? सो व्हाट कैन बी द मिनिमम वैल्यू? हमने बताया मैक्सिमम वैल्यू 1000 किलोमीटर होता है. मिनिमम वैल्यू क्या हो सकता है? It can be as low as 160 किलोमीटर. ठीक है, 160 किलोमीटर से 1000 किलोमीटर के बीच का अगर कोई डिस्टेंस है, ओके, सो this satellite will be called as low earth orbit satellite. Okay, so satellites may be placed anywhere. It may be placed at 160 kilometers above the surface of the earth. It may be placed 1000 kilometers above the surface of the earth. It can be placed anywhere between it. So in all these places, ठीक है, जितने भी सैटेलाइट होंगे उन सारे सैटेलाइट को हम बोलेंगे लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट सैटेलाइट्स. ठीक है, मतलब अलग अलग नाम दे सकते हैं, बट लाइक दे आर लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट सैटेलाइट. Is it clear to all of you? Just let me know if it is clear, because there are a lot of things that we are going to interconnect it now. Okay, so any doubt till now? Any doubt about low earth orbit? There are a lot of things that we are going to discuss. Okay, so Himanshu says it is clear, Koteshwar Rao says it is clear, Savina says it is clear. Okay, that's all right. So some of the people may still be having doubt. If you know what is your doubt, you may ask, or otherwise, like if you want to learn more, you can just wait. Okay, no problem. Okay, Avni says it is clear, Himanshi says it is clear, Amisha says it is clear. Now दैट डे वी डिस्कस्ड कि इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन होता है. वी डिस्कस्ड कि मतलब वी हैव इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन ऑल्सो. ओके, वी डिस्कस्ड व्हाट इज इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन. दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ सैटेलाइट इटसेल्फ. ओके, दीज आर मॉड्यूलर इन नेचर. मतलब हमने क्या किया, एक सैटेलाइट भेजा जिसमें हमने कुछ पार्ट भेजे, दूसरा सैटेलाइट भेजा कुछ पार्ट भेजे, तीसरा सैटेलाइट भेजा कुछ पार्ट भेजे, सबको आपस में जोड़ के एक घर बना लिया हमने ऊपर. ओके, वी मेड अ हाउस ओवर देयर सो दैट लाइक astronauts once they visit they can reside there for some time, which is this is known as international space station. उसको क्या बोलते हैं, what we say it to be international space station. Okay, we say international space station. So why it is important for us to have international space station? Okay, why it is important? So that like human beings can go, they can actually witness, they can actually experience what is the force of gravity that we are facing. Okay, and the thing is international space station is placed in the low earth orbit. It is very important point over here. जो इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन होता है उसको हम लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में प्लेस करते हैं. Okay, where do we place international space station? We place it at low earth orbit. It may be anywhere, okay, between 160 kilometer and 1000 kilometer above the mean sea level from the earth. ठीक है, इसके बीच में कहीं भी हम इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन प्लेस कर सकते हैं. रिसेंटली द इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन दैट इज फंक्शनिंग ओवर देयर, इट हैज बीन मेड यूजिंग कोलैबोरेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट स्पेस एजेंसीज. बहुत सारी स्पेस एजेंसी ने आपस में कोलैबोरेट किया. दे क्रिएटेड इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन ओवर देयर सो दैट दे कैन सेंड देयर एस्ट्रोनॉट्स ओवर देयर. रशिया भी है उसमें, यूएसए भी है, जापान भी है, यूरोपियन स्पेस एजेंसी भी है, कैनेडियन स्पेस एजेंसी भी है. यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? सो वेरियस इंटरनेशनल स्पेस एजेंसीज दे कोलैबोरेटेड. उन्होंने क्या कोलैबोरेशन किया, ठीक है, एक दूसरे के साथ दोस्ती की. ठीक है, हम सब मिलकर इस चीज़ को बनाते हैं. सो दे मेड इट सो दैट दे कैन सेंड देयर एस्ट्रोनॉट्स, ताकि वो अपने एस्ट्रोनॉट्स को वहाँ पे भेज सके. वंस एस्ट्रोनॉट्स रीच देयर, they can stay there, they can experience the gravity and all, and people go in international space station for tourism purpose also. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कोई इंसान है जिनके पास बहुत पैसे हैं, they want to visit international space station, they want to experience how the life is over there. Okay, they can they can actually approach some space agencies and they can send those people. Till now I guess 273 or 293 people have actually visited international space station and they come back from there. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं कि वहाँ पे चले गए तो वहीं पे चले गए, बस टाटा बाय बाय हो गया. It's not the case. We send people over there, we bring back those people also from there. So it is easy. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में है, it is not very far. We can send people, we can bring back people. Okay, if it is very far from here, so we can send, but like bringing back those people is very difficult task. Okay, so that's why international space station also, ठीक है, यहाँ पे scientific experiments करते हैं. We do scientific experiments, microgravity experiments. We send people for tourism purpose, then they come back like that. Okay, so ये चीज़ है. Now you tell me one thing. Okay, people, you tell me one thing. I'll be asking a basic question now again. Let's consider this is planet Earth. ये जो मैंने draw किया, this is planet Earth. Okay, and if I'm making some points over here, मान लेते हैं this is a point. Okay, this is a place p1 distance away. This is another place. Let's consider this is another place over here. Okay, this is another place which is p2. ठीक है, मतलब point 1 point 2 पे ये located है. They may be different satellites. ठीक है, so let's say कि this is the distance. जो अभी मैं line draw कर रहा हूँ, whatever line I am drawing, this particular line actually shows you the distance. ठीक है, इसके बीच में distance, मतलब इसके बीच में let's consider distance d1 है, इसके बीच में distance d2 है. Definitely d1 distance is less than d2 distance. ऐसा है कि नहीं है? Everyone tell me, is d1 less than d2? Yes, it is less than. Okay, so p1 point is nearer to the earth as compared to p2 point. Okay, just friends, tell me one thing from here. Okay, so many of you are typing. So d1 point is nearer than d1 distance is less than d2 distance, p1 point is nearer than p2 point. This is very clear from the diagram itself. Now one question, tell me, if you want to see, जैसे पूरा अर्थ है, हमें पूरे अर्थ को देखना है, मैक्सिमम एरिया को देखना है. If you want to see maximum area of the earth, from which point will be able to see maximum maximum coverage, ज़्यादा कवर करना हो अर्थ को, तो कौन से पॉइंट से हम करेंगे? P2 पॉइंट से करेंगे कि P1 पॉइंट से? Okay, if you want to see maximum area of the earth, okay, from which point can we actually cover maximum area of the earth? From which point? So many of you have answered. Okay, P2, Himanshu, Amisha P2, Mohammad Farid D2. D2 means D2 distance से हम मतलब maximum area cover करेंगे. Himanshu also says P2 point. Okay, why it is so? बिकॉज P2 पॉइंट दूर है, इसके वजह से जो लाइन ऑफ साइट है यहाँ से हमें बहुत सारा चीज दिखेगा, ठीक है. बट द थिंग इज फ्रॉम P2 पॉइंट वी कैन नॉट सी द इंटायर ग्लोब. यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? वी कैन नॉट सी द इंटायर अर्थ और इंटायर ग्लोब. व्हाई? बिकॉज ग्लोब क्या है? स्फेरिकल है. अगर हम एक साइड में रहेंगे, इफ वी आर ऑन द वन साइड, वी कैन सी एट मोस्ट हाफ ऑफ इट, ओके, और लेस देन हाफ ऑफ इट. दिस इज द थिंग. फ्रॉम P1 point we can actually see very lesser. Okay, let's consider we can see only this much, जो dotted line में बना रहा हूँ. P2 से हो सकता है कि हमें ये दिखे और यहाँ तक दिखे, like that. Okay, so P2, from P2 point we can see maximum coverage, we can have maximum coverage. From P1 we will have little lesser coverage, ठीक है. तो the thing is, अगर हमारे पास कवरेज एरिया अलग अलग है, तो मतलब एप्लीकेशन, अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन के लिए, फॉर डिफरेंट एप्लीकेशन पर्पसेस वी मे नीड टू प्लेस द सैटेलाइट्स एट फार्दर अवे. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू वांट टू व्यू द इंटायर ग्लोब, ओके, सो द थिंग इज, इफ यू वांट टू कवर द इंटायर ग्लोब, सो मान लेते हैं, सो आई विल बी पुटिंग द क्वेश्चन इन अ सिंपलर फॉर्म. इफ यू वांट टू कवर द इंटायर ग्लोब, ओके, how many satellites do we need to place at a distance d2 and how many at d1? You don't have to answer me in numbers, but answer me like where we have to place maximum number of satellites and where we have to place minimum satellites. देखो, we want to cover the entire earth and क्या है, being human beings we want to place lesser number of satellites. This is the thing, you understanding? हमें क्या करना है? पूरे अर्थ को कवर करना है एंड हमें lesser number of satellite प्लेस करना है. So where do we have to put those satellites? At d2 distance or at d1 distance? If you want to cover the entire earth and we have to place lesser number of satellite, at what distance shall we placing those satellites? At d1 or d2 distance? Okay, Himanshu has answered less on P2 and more on P1. देखो, Himanshu is saying we have to put lesser satellite. Yes, we want to put lesser satellite and we want to cover the entire globe. This is the thing. At what distance we should be placing, at d2 or d1? We are not going into the mathematics. We know this is lesser distance, that is more distance. That's the thing. I'll be drawing another diagram for your clarity. Okay, for your clarity purpose, I'll be drawing another diagram. No problem. Okay, so let's consider I have drawn the earth over here. This is earth. Okay, this is earth. Okay, I am placing different satellites. One satellite over here. I am placing another satellite using some other color. Let's consider other satellite is placed over here. Okay, let's see, let's say this particular distance is d2 and this particular distance is d1. We want to cover the entire globe. Okay, so majority of you have answered d2. Okay, majority of you have answered d2 or p2 like that. So the thing is, see, these satellites will be revolving around the earth, definitely, like that. This satellite will be revolving around the earth. So if I want to cover the entire earth, I may have to place, you know, just a minute, I may have to place, you know, these type of satellites, one over here, one over here, just a minute, okay. Don't go into the shape of the satellites and all. So what I am doing effectively over here, I am placing 3 satellites, okay. I am placing 3 satellites at d2 distance, and these 3 satellites are able to cover the entire globe. ये क्या कर रहा है, पूरे ग्लोब को कवर कर रहा है. मतलब ये वाला सैटेलाइट हो सकता है कि इधर से इधर तक कवरेज दे, ये इधर से इधर तक कवर करे, और ये इधर से इधर तक कवर करे. एंड मतलब लाइक दैट विल बी completely. So it may be the possibility that this particular satellite covers from here to here. This satellite covers, you know, a range of this particular satellite will be like that, and for this satellite it may be like that, okay. So the thing is, let's consider that only 3 satellites are necessary to cover the entire globe when they are put at a very you know, like higher distance, ठीक है. तो low earth orbit में क्या होता है, in low earth orbit satellites are very near, okay. So the thing is, we may need a constellation of satellite, we may need many satellites to cover the entire globe. हमें क्या करना है, बहुत सारे सैटेलाइट चाहिए so that they can cover the entire globe. But the thing is, if we place those satellites little away, तो उससे क्या होगा, we may have to use lesser number of satellites to cover more area, okay. Just tell me one thing, okay, tell me one thing. If you have a camera, okay, if you have a camera, okay, so let's consider scientists are making cameras, okay. D2 less D1 more satellites. Yes, Mohammed Farid is absolutely right. Okay, now one more question. These are based on applications, okay. One more question. Let's consider you are a scientist, you are developing cameras, okay, that will be placed on these satellites so that we can take images of the earth, okay, images, okay. हमें अर्थ का इमेज लेना है, we have to take the photo of the earth, okay, and we have a camera, okay. कैमरा की रेजोल्यूशन थोड़ा लिमिटेड है, ओके. सो द थिंग इज, इफ यू हैव अ हाई डेफिनेशन कैमरा, ठीक है. सो द थिंग इज, इफ यू वांट टू कैप्चर, इफ यू वांट टू टेक क्लियरर पिक्चर, ओके, सो विल यू बी एबल टू टेक क्लियर पिक्चर फ्रॉम अ नियर डिस्टेंस और वेरी फार डिस्टेंस? टेल मी दिस थिंग इन जनरल केस, ओके. इफ यू हैव अ कैमरा, इफ यू वांट टू टेक इमेज of the earth, okay, very clear image, it is always required कि you should be taking clear image for understanding anything, okay. So where you have to put those, I mean those satellites or those cameras very near to the surface of the earth. तो क्या है, it depends, ठीक है, depends कि हमें क्या application चाहिए. अगर हमें अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट रखना है, इफ यू वांट टू हैव अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट, मतलब अर्थ को वो सिर्फ ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं, मतलब लाइक जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हमें सिर्फ इंडिया के ऊपर का वेदर देखना है कि इंडिया के ऊपर टेम्परेचर कितना है, मतलब लाइक कितने क्लाउड फॉर्म हो रहे हैं, ठीक है. इफ यू वांट टू सी यू नो वेदर ऑफ यू नो इंडिया, तो हमें क्या करना होगा, वी हैव टू प्लेस सम सैटेलाइट with such kind of cameras and other devices which is very near to the surface of the earth so that we can take clear pictures, ताकि हम clear picture ले सके so that we can analyze it clearly. जैसे for example you might have used your GPS to locate your own house. How many of you have located your own house using GPS system? मतलब कुछ लोगों ने आपने many of you may have used, okay. So many of you may be able to see like your area. Let's consider Delhi, you were able to locate. In Delhi also you are able to locate a particular specific area. But when it comes to locating your house, so how clear it is? It is not that very clear, but the entire city can be seen as small buildings, okay. So if we have very high resolution satellites, तो क्या होगा, हम will be able to take clearer picture, ठीक है. So there is a trade off, okay. So yes, it is blurred from near. Okay, if you want to see your house exactly, so it is blurred, but if you want to see the city, you can see small houses like that. So that precision is lacking. Okay, so we are so when we talk about applications like military के केस में application, जैसे border area को अगर आपको surveillance करना है, if you want to have surveillance in the border areas, तो क्या करना होगा? You need to have high resolution cameras on the satellite, right? You need to have high resolution cameras. So बहुत हाई रेजोल्यूशन चीज़ें हम मतलब जनरल पब्लिक को हमेशा अवेलेबल नहीं करा सकते. वी कैन मेक इट अवेलेबल टू आवर डिफेंस पर्सनल्स, वी कैन मेक इट अवेलेबल फॉर रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट पर्पस. तो जो हाई रेजोल्यूशन कैमराज होते हैं वो सारी चीज़ें, तो वो सारा मतलब लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में रखा जाता है जनरली. दीज आर नोन एज अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट. क्या बोलते हैं? अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट, ताकि हम क्लियर पिक्चर ले सके. ठीक है. Some of these satellites are known as navigation satellites. Some of these satellites are known as communication satellites. I'll make you understand what is the difference between navigation satellite and communication satellite. Earth observation आपको समझ में आ गया है कि if you want to have a spatial analysis, किसी particular जगह का अगर हमें analysis करना है, मान लो हमें देखना है कि यहाँ पे ग्रीन कवर कितना है, ठीक है, वहाँ पे टेम्परेचर कितना है. टेम्परेचर कैसे एनालाइज करते हैं? हम इंफ्रारेड रेडिएशन लेते हैं. ठीक है, मतलब वी सी कि इफ इट इज रेड, इफ इट इज ब्लू, इफ इट इज ग्रीन लाइक दैट, उसके हिसाब से टेम्परेचर हमें पता लग जाता है. वी हैव साइंटिफिक मेथड्स ऑफ डूइंग सैंपल एनालिसिस. ठीक है, सैंपल एनालिसिस के लिए हमारे पास साइंटिफिक मेथड्स होते हैं. ओके, यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस थिंग. सो we need lesser number of satellites when they are placed little at higher distance, but there is a trade-off. The higher distance that you want to place a satellite, तो सैटेलाइट को ऊपर ले जाने के लिए जो हमारे पास लॉन्च व्हीकल चाहिए उतना दूर, that launch vehicle should be very high. For example, अगर हम मानते हैं, okay, just a minute, if you are standing on the ground, okay, like that, you are standing on the ground and you have another friend with you, okay, that friend is also standing on the ground, but you are very weak, matlab you are just a normal person like me, and other person is very heavy in the sense, matlab like that person may be healthy, that person may be a athlete type of thing. If you want to throw something up, कोई चीज़ हमें अगर ऊपर फेंकना हो, if you want to throw something up, a person who has more strength, okay, a person who has more strength will be able to throw something, you know, at a very higher distance than a person who has lesser strength. ऐसा है कि नहीं है? Tell me one thing, okay? This is the thing. This is person A, this is person B. Person B is more strong, person A is less strong. They have to throw very heavy object. मान लेते 5 किलो का कोई बॉल है, ठीक है, लोहे का कुछ है, मतलब they want to throw upstairs. So person A will be able to throw it definitely, but to a lesser height. Person B will be able to throw it to a more height. So in case of satellites also, satellite के केस में भी ऐसा ही होता है. Okay, if we want to place some satellite here or here, okay, we have to have those launch vehicles. क्या होना चाहिए हमारे पास? Launch vehicles होने चाहिए. ठीक है, launch vehicles क्या होते हैं? जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हमें कोई कागज है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव अ पेपर, ओके, वी हैव पेपर, piece of paper like this. We want to send this piece of paper to a very far distance, okay, by throwing. So if we throw just piece of paper, so will the piece of paper go very far away? No. Like friction, what friction will do? Friction will cause this particular paper to fall, you know, before it actually reaches our desired location. ठीक है, तो क्या करेंगे हम? उस पेपर में कुछ ना कुछ पत्थर को लपेट देंगे. What we will do? We will wrap a stone. We will wrap a stone inside that particular, you know, this piece of paper. Then we will throw. If we throw it like that, so that stone will go far distance along with this particular thing. Okay, it will go a far distance. And if we are able to separate that stone from the paper, okay, so the thing is paper has actually reached very far. So stone over here is a launch vehicle. Stone क्या है हमारे पास? Launch vehicle है. For example, if you want to come from Jaipur, okay, or come from let's consider Indore in Madhya Pradesh to Delhi, okay, so how do you come? Do you come by walking or you come through train or through flight, like that. So train, or if you take flight, so those flight or train are launch vehicles. They're taking you from there and they are actually bringing you over here, like that. You can consider them to be launch vehicles. So the thing is, we need heavy launch vehicles to place satellites at higher orbit. क्या है, कोई सैटेलाइट को अगर हमें हायर ऑर्बिट में प्लेस करना है तो वी नीड heavy launch vehicles, those launch vehicles that are able to carry things at a very far distance, like that. या फिर weight पे भी depend करता है. It depends on the weight of the satellite also, like what is the weight of the satellite. If weight of the satellite is very less, if it is a small satellite, so we need a small satellite launch vehicle. launch vehicle अलग अलग टाइप के होते हैं. एक होता है small satellite launch vehicle, SSLV बोलते हैं. एक होता है पोलर सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल, ठीक है, PSLV बोलते हैं. एक होता है जियो सिंक्रोनस सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल, ठीक है, और जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल. सो वी हैव डिफरेंट लॉन्च व्हीकल्स, ठीक है. इन लॉन्च व्हीकल की कैपेसिटी अलग अलग होती है, इन द सेंस कि दीज व्हीकल्स आर एबल टू कैरी दो सैटेलाइट्स to our desired orbit, and these satellites will be having some weight that these launch vehicles are able to carry with them. Are you understanding? So what are launch vehicles? These are carrier vehicles. They carry some satellites inside themselves. जैसे आप बस से जाते हो ना, तो बस से आप जहाँ पे पहुँचते हो वहाँ पे उतर जाते हो और बस अपने चलती है, right? So bus can be considered as a launch vehicle, and you are satellite yourself, like that. You have to consider like that. So we have a small satellite launch vehicle, polar satellite launch vehicle, geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. And how do we differentiate these launch vehicles? Based on the orbit. जो ऑर्बिट के बारे में हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि हमारे पास जियो स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट होता है, जियो सिंक्रोनस ऑर्बिट होता है, वी हैव ऑर्बिट लाइक सन सिंक्रोनस ऑर्बिट, we have low earth orbit, medium earth orbit. So these are the things. Are you understanding? I'm talking very basic basic things, so that you have greater understanding on these things. Now if I talk about navigation satellite, what are navigation satellite? Navigation satellites are those satellites that are able to cover more distance. जैसे मान लो medium earth orbit, for example, ये वाला जो अंदर वाला सैटेलाइट है, this satellite, let's consider it is placed in low earth orbit, LEO, low earth orbit. And if we consider that this satellite, this D2 distance पे जो satellite है, let's consider it is placed in medium earth orbit. कहाँ पे placed है? Medium earth orbit में. So if some satellite is placed in the medium earth orbit, they will be having higher coverage over here. So the thing is, all the navigation satellite, कौन से navigation satellites are mostly placed in the medium earth orbit. Navigation मतलब जैसे for example, if you have an aircraft, plane होता है, plane चलता है, aircraft है, तो aircraft they keep on communicating, pilot keeps on communicating with the ground stations. How? Through radar systems, through satellite phones and all. Pilots give information, and the thing is, those information, जैसे for example, for example, just give me a minute. Let's consider there is a plane over here. So let's consider this is just a plane. This particular plane is moving like this. So ये plane जब move कर रहा है, तो this plane needs some communication devices to get the exact direction, in which direction it has to follow, whether there is any कि उनके रास्ते में कोई वो तो नहीं है, I mean कोई cloud तो नहीं है, मतलब like do they have to lower their height, do they have to increase their height, do they have to reduce their speed, like that. So they get all these information using these satellites itself. ठीक है. So एरोप्लेन्स मूव कर रहे हैं, या फाइटर प्लेन्स मूव कर रहे हैं, या फिर शिप्स. Ships are also moving in the ocean. Like some of the ships are coming from United States of America till India. Are you understanding? So how those ships get some information? Nowadays people are no longer using those old dated compass. Compass is still there. In our older time we used to have compass that used to show us direction, कि हमें ईस्ट जाना है, हमें वेस्ट जाना है, like that. It was based on prediction of people कि हम इधर जा रहे हैं तो ठीक है हम पहुंचते हैं. You might have heard about कि हाँ कोलंबस कहीं को निकलने के लिए चले थे, कहीं पे पहुंचने के लिए निकले थे और कहीं और पहुंच गए. So they were navigators. They were early navigators, right, through sea routes. Nowadays what is happening, the communication are happening through these like satellite devices, ठीक है, GPS systems होते हैं, navigation system होते हैं. So we have some satellites over here. ये सारे satellite, these satellites are able to deal with this navigation purposes कि aeroplane move कर रहे हैं, ships move कर रहे हैं, cargo move कर रहे हैं and all. These things are managed through navigation satellites, and navigation satellites are mostly placed in medium earth orbit. Why? Because we need lesser number of satellites to actually track a aeroplane from one place to another. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि एक पर्टिकुलर एरोप्लेन ने पूरे अर्थ का चक्कर लगा लिया, ऐसा हुआ है. मतलब द थिंग इज देयर हैव बीन वेरियस साइंटिफिक प्रोजेक्ट्स वेयर सिंगल solar power plane was made to circumvent the entire earth. So that has happened. So what happens, for most of the duration they get information, okay, about their direction and all from one satellite. Once they go out of the sight of the first satellite, then they come in the range of the second satellite. Then second satellite gives navigation information. Then it comes in the range of the third satellite. Like this, it keeps on happening. Okay, so minimum number of satellites that we require to complete one to completely cover the earth is 3. Okay, we will talk about all of it. Now we are discussing the basic things about it. Okay, so I hope you understood what do we mean by navigation satellite. Those satellites that help in the navigation purposes. The navigation may happen through airways, it may happen through ships, it may happen through other modes also. Okay, so is it understood what is navigation satellite? Is it understood to all of you what is navigation satellite? What is earth observation satellites? Okay, these are the basic things. Okay, if you are able to understand these things, you will not find any difficulty in understanding any scientific literature, okay, any scientific document. Okay, so many of you have understood. That's a good thing. That's a good sign that you are understanding. Okay, so I have another thing that I want to share related to this particular thing. Okay, so what I discussed low earth orbit. Okay, low earth orbit. So this is an orbit that ranges from 160 kilometers to 1000 kilometers above the surface of the earth. And कहाँ से हम measure करते हैं? We measure it from the mean sea level. ऐसा नहीं कि Mount Everest से distance हम measure करते हैं. No, we calculate the distance from the mean sea level. जो sea है, sea surface है, वहाँ से हम distance measure करते हैं. Like that. Okay, this is low earth orbit. Low earth orbit में जो satellites move करते हैं. Now I am discussing about low earth orbit. Okay, so just be with me. Okay, I'll be discussing some more important things. In low earth orbit, okay, the orbital distance is 160 kilometer to 1000 kilometer. It is understood by you. Second thing is here, speed of rotation. The speed of rotation in low earth orbit is very high. Okay, speed of rotation of the satellite is very high. क्या है? Speed of rotation is very high. For example, जो international space station है, ठीक है? If we place international space station in low earth orbit, actually it is there in low earth orbit. Okay, so any guess, friends, how many times does it revolve around the earth in one day? Is it able to complete any revolution around the earth every day? Any idea? International Space Station एक दिन में अर्थ के चारों तरफ कितनी बार घूमता होगा? How many times? Any idea? How many times does international? Okay, Amisha is making a guess. एक या दो बार. Okay, शायद. So I'll give you some option. Okay, just a random option. Okay, it's not a question form, just a random option. Okay, it covers 2 rotation per day. Okay, 2 rotation per day means like 2 times it revolves around the earth. It covers, let's consider, half of the rotation per day, 16 rotations per day, 25 rotations per day, like that. Means like इतनी बार ये अर्थ के चारों तरफ चक्कर लगा लेते हैं इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन. So which option would you like to go with? Okay. Himanshu says C16. Okay. Himanshi also says C16. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so generally International Space Station, okay, this International Space Station that is now placed, it actually revolves around the Earth 16 times in one day. क्या करता है ये अर्थ के चारों तरफ 16 बार चक्कर लगा लेता है 24 घंटे के अंदर. सो इट कवर्स वन रोटेशन रफली एट 90 मिनट्स इंटरवल. 1.5 घंटे के अंदर ये पूरे अर्थ का एक चक्कर लगा लेता है. व्हाट इट डज, इट कंप्लीट्स वन रेवोल्यूशन अराउंड द अर्थ विद इन 90 मिनट्स. ठीक है, 1.5 घंटे के अंदर जितनी देर हमारी क्लास होती है उतनी देर में वो पूरे अर्थ का चक्कर लगा लेता है एक बार, उससे कम टाइम में. We have earlier we used to have class of 1.5 hour, now it is 2 hours, but like within 90 minutes, within 1.5 hour it is able to complete one revolution around the earth. Okay, and the thing is, what is its speed? इसके जो speed होती है, the speed is around 3 kilometers per second. Okay, 3 kilometer per second. एक सेकेंड में इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन 3 किलोमीटर कवर कर लेता है. Okay, it covers 3 kilometer. Are you understanding this thing? So a satellite, okay, a satellite which is placed at lower orbits, okay, rotates at a faster speed than a satellite which is placed at higher orbit. Okay, जैसे lower orbit में जो satellite हम यहाँ पे place कर रहे हैं, जैसे जो d1 distance में place था, इसकी speed of revolution जो है अर्थ के चारों तरफ ये बहुत high है as compared to a satellite which is placed at a far distance. Are you understanding? ऐसे सैटेलाइट जो अर्थ के काफ़ी पास प्लेस किए जाते हैं, अर्थ के सरफेस के काफ़ी पास, वो अर्थ के चारों तरफ बहुत ज़्यादा स्पीड से रिवॉल्व करता है एज कम्पेयर टू अ सैटेलाइट दैट इज प्लेस्ड वेरी फार अवे फ्रॉम द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ. इज इट क्लियर? इज दिस क्लियर? सो a satellite which is placed in low earth orbit will have higher speed as compared to a satellite which is placed in medium earth orbit, and this medium earth orbit satellite will have higher speed as compared to high earth orbit satellites. Is it clear? This concept clear to all of you? Okay, so we have understood low earth orbit, we have understood this thing. Okay, then there is another concept. ठीक है, there is another concept. I will talk about it. So I hope till now you have understood what do we mean by low earth orbits. Okay, what do we mean by low earth orbit? Now when we talk about, okay, now when we talk about geostationary earth orbit, okay, geostationary versus जियोसिंक्रोनस अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ठीक है, दो टाइप के ऑर्बिट होते हैं. दे आर जियोसिंक्रोनस, ओके, अर्थ ऑर्बिट, EA. आई एम जस्ट राइटिंग EA. So we have one term which is known as geostationary earth orbit, another we have geosynchronous earth orbit. ठीक है, what we are going to understand, we are going to understand the difference between these orbits. Okay, so the thing is, so be with me. Okay, be a little more attentive now. Okay, be little more attentive. Let's consider, okay, let's consider this is earth for the time being. Okay, for the time being what I am doing, I am just drawing a line axis like this. Axis actually tilted होता है. किस तरफ tilted होता है? Axis is actually tilted like this. Okay, so this is the axis. So if we have this as axis, so what will be the equator of the earth? Equator will be like this. ऐसे equator होगा. Equator is something that divides the earth into two major hemispheres. Okay, we have northern hemisphere और north pole ऊपर होता है, south pole हमारे पास नीचे होता है. ये ऊपर वाला एरिया जो है इसे हम बोलते हैं northern hemisphere. ये नीचे वाला जो चीज होता है we say it to be southern hemisphere. What we say? We say it to be southern hemisphere. So this particular line, okay, ये जो line हमने draw किया है यहाँ पे, this particular line is known as equator. Equator क्या होता है? 0 डिग्री. ठीक है, 0 डिग्री लैटिट्यूड होता है. Okay, this is known as 0 degree latitude. This is known as equator. So the thing is, a satellite, okay, a satellite which is placed in the equatorial plane. Equatorial plane का मतलब क्या है? जैसे अगर हम एक सर्कल ड्रॉ करते हैं, सर्कल क्या है? Is circle a two-dimensional thing or a three-dimensional thing? Everyone, just answer me this question. If I draw a circle, okay, if I draw a circle, so is a circle two-dimensional figure or it is a three-dimensional figure? ये एक circle है, is it 2D or it is 3D? Everyone, just tell me. Okay, Himanshi has answered first, then Amisha has answered that circle is a two-dimensional thing. Okay, so the thing is, this circle, let's consider this circle is placed in x axis and y axis. Okay, हमारे पास क्या है, एक x axis है and y axis है. तो this particular circle is placed in xy plane. इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? We will say it to be a plane. क्या बोलते हैं हम इसको? एक plane बोलते हैं. जैसे हम पेपर है, for example you might have heard, ठीक है, इन योर स्कूल टाइमिंग कि हमारे पास एक पेपर होता है, वी हैव अ पेपर, सो दिस इज नोन एज अ प्लेन. ओके, दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग इज नोन एज अ प्लेन. आई कैन ड्रॉ अ सर्कल ओवर हियर एंड दिस विल बी अ प्लेन. सो इट इज नॉट अ थ्री डायमेंशनल थिंग. एंड इफ आई हैव like if I have a mobile phone like this, it has a plane also, but it has a height, it has some height also over here. So it will be a three-dimensional thing. Circle will be a two-dimensional thing. So earth in itself is three-dimensional in nature. Earth क्या है? Earth three dimensional है, it has three dimensions. ठीक है, so the thing is you might have heard about some coordinate systems. ठीक है, we have Cartesian coordinate system in 2 dimensions, we have Cartesian coordinate system in 3 dimensions, we have spherical coordinate systems, we have then we have cylindrical coordinate systems. Okay, so we are not going in the physics of it. ठीक है, सो ये जो कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम मैंने यहाँ पे ड्रॉ किया है टू डायमेंशन में, इट इज नोन एज कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम. क्या बोलते हैं हम इसको? वी से इट टू बी कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम. सो इट हैज टू डायमेंशंस, एक्स एक्सिस एंड वाई एक्सिस. सो द थिंग इज अर्थ इन इटसेल्फ इज अ थ्री डायमेंशनल ऑब्जेक्ट. ओके, इट इज अ थ्री डायमेंशनल ऑब्जेक्ट. इट्स शेप इज नोन एज जियोइड शेप. ओके, in general sense we understand it as a sphere. Okay, so if that sphere is cut, okay, from the middle over here from this particular line, we will have a plane. हमारे पास क्या होगा? एक प्लेन होगा. ठीक है, इस प्लेन के चारों तरफ अगर हम एक सर्कल ड्रॉ करेंगे तो वो इक्वेटर कहलाएगा यहाँ पे. so if we have an orbit which is just above this particular equator, okay, if we have an orbit which is equidistant, इक्विडिस्टेंस मतलब सेम डिस्टेंस पे है. कहाँ से? इक्वेटर से. अर्थ के इक्वेटर से मान लेते हैं कि इट इज एट 1500 किलोमीटर्स अवे. नॉट 1500, मान लेते हैं इट इज एट 37,000. ओके, और मान लेते हैं 36,000 किलोमीटर्स अवे फॉर जनरल केस. ओके, 36,000 किलोमीटर्स अबव द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ. ठीक है, हमने एक ऑर्बिट ड्रॉ किया जो इक्वेटर से 36,000 किलोमीटर ऊपर है. हाउ मच अबव इट इज फ्रॉम द इक्वेटर? 36,000 किलोमीटर अवे. ठीक है, बिल्कुल इक्वेटर के ऊपर है ये पर्टिकुलर जो ऑर्बिट है. दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट इज जस्ट अबव दैट पर्टिकुलर इक्वेटर एंड इट इज एट 36 किलोमीटर्स अवे फ्रॉम 36,000 किलोमीटर्स अवे फ्रॉम अर्थ. ठीक है, तो इस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट को हम बोलते हैं, व्हाट वी से, दिस ऑर्बिट इज नोन एज जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट. क्या बोलते हैं? जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ओके, जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ओके, जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट, उसको हम शॉर्ट फॉर्म में जियो भी बोलते हैं. ओके, capital G is taken from here, E is taken from here, O is taken from here, and we say geostationary earth orbit, in short geo. Okay, so this is an orbit which is directly above the orbital plane of the equator. क्या है? ये orbital plane के ऊपर है equator के, and it is roughly at a distance of 36,000 kilometer above the surface of the earth. This particular orbit will be known as geostationary earth orbit. Okay, why do we say geostationary earth orbit? Because, okay, let's consider this is earth and this is the orbit over here. Okay, ये हमारे पास अर्थ है एंड ये ऑर्बिट है, दिस इज द ऑर्बिट, ओके, लाइक दैट, ओके. सो ऑर्बिट्स आर कॉन्टिन्यूस लाइक दिस, ओके, यू हैव टू कंसीडर इट टू बी कॉन्टिन्यूस. सो दिस इज ऑर्बिट. सो इफ समथिंग इज प्लेस्ड इन द जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट, ओके, अगर हम अर्थ से उस चीज को देखेंगे, ओके, सो व्हाट दे डू, they complete one revolution around the earth in the same time period in which the earth completes one rotation around its axis. ठीक है, अर्थ क्या करता है, अपने एक्सिस के चारों तरफ रोटेट करता है. ठीक है, अर्थ रोटेट्स अराउंड इट्स एक्सिस लाइक दिस फ्रॉम वेस्ट टू ईस्ट. ठीक है, ये वेस्ट, सॉरी जस्ट अ मिनट, इट रोटेट्स फ्रॉम वेस्ट टू ईस्ट. ठीक है, इट रोटेट्स फ्रॉम वेस्ट टू ईस्ट लाइक दिस, ओके. इन रफली कितना टाइम लेता है, 23 आवर्स, ओके, 23 आवर 56 मिनट, ओके, 4 सेकेंड 4.9 सेकेंड टाइप, ओके. इतना टाइम ये लेता है अर्थ अपने एक्सिस के चारों तरफ एक कंप्लीट रोटेशन कवर करने के लिए, ओके. अर्थ टेक्स रफली 23 आवर्स 56 मिनट्स 4.9 seconds like that, 4 seconds you can say, okay, like that. So ये जो टाइम पीरियड होता है इसे हम साइंटिफिक लिटरेचर में इसे हम साइडेरियल डे बोलते हैं. क्या बोलते हैं, CIDERIAL, वी से इट टू बी साइडेरियल डे. क्या बोलते हैं, साइडेरियल डे. ठीक है, जनरली. ठीक है, मतलब साइडेरियल डे मतलब एक जो लाइक हेवनली ऑब्जेक्ट है, जैसे अर्थ है, अर्थ ने अपने चारों तरफ एक रोटेशन करने के लिए जितना टाइम लिया उसे हम रफली उसे हम साइडेरियल डे बोलते हैं. ठीक है, साइंटिफिकली वी से इट टू बी साइडेरियल डे एंड द टाइम दैट इट टेक्स इज 23 आवर्स 56 मिनट्स 4.9 सेकेंड्स. लेकिन रफली हम उसको अपने अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए हम क्या करते हैं, उसको हम मान लेते हैं 24 आवर्स और उसको फिर हम एडजस्ट करते हैं एक साल में. ठीक है, अब मतलब 3 साल तक हमारे पास 365 डेज होते हैं. 4th ईयर में हम 366 डेज बोल देते हैं क्योंकि वो डेली का जो क्या बोलते हैं 3 मिनट कुछ जो बाकी रह रहा है ना, ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम ओवर 365 डेज इट मेक्स वन कंप्लीट डे. सो दैट पर्टिकुलर ईयर जब हमारे पास 365 डेज होता है, दैट ईयर इज नोन एज, क्या बोलते हैं उस ईयर को, एनीवन हैविंग एनी आइडिया व्हाट डू वी से दैट ईयर व्हेन वी हैव 366 डेज?
लीप ईयर.
Okay, Amisha has answered. Okay, it is known as leap year. Okay, it is known as leap year. Okay, so
सर ये लीप ईयर क्यों होता है?
Okay, leap year क्यों होता है? वही तो मैं आपको समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. जनरली हम क्या करते हैं, हमारे जो क्लॉक्स है, whatever watches and clocks that we have, these clocks give us time period 24 hours. Like we consider like in a day we have 24 hours. We keep on considering like this round the year like that, okay. लेकिन actually अर्थ अपने एक्सिस के अराउंड रोटेट करता है 23 आवर्स 56 मिनट्स 4.9 सेकेंड. तो यहाँ पे हम क्या करते हैं, रफली 3 मिनट एंड सम सेकेंड, मतलब 3 मिनट लाइक मे बी 57 सेकेंड्स हम क्या करते हैं, 3 मिनट 56 सेकेंड्स या लाइक 55 सेकेंड्स हर डे हम ऐड कर रहे होते हैं उसमें. ठीक है, नॉर्मली इट इज मतलब जो है हर दिन हम कुछ एक्स्ट्रा टाइम हम ले लेते हैं. ठीक है, तो क्या है 23 आवर्स में एक दिन हो जाना चाहिए, लेकिन घड़ी में 24 आवर्स है. तो उतना सारा जब हम ऐड कर रहे होते हैं, हर दिन 3-3 मिनट हम एडिशनल उसमें ऐड कर रहे हैं, तो हम हर 4 साल में क्या होता है, रफली मेक्स इक्विवेलेंट टू 24 आवर्स. ये जो 3-3 मिनट है, 3 मिनट 56 सेकेंड जो बाकी है, ठीक है, ये पूरे एक साल में. ठीक है, मतलब लाइक roughly मतलब what happens, we keep on adding so that like after like 4 times of 365 days it roughly adds up to become 124 hour. okay, ये 3-3 मिनट जोड़ के एक दिन के बराबर हो जाता है. so that's why we celebrate that leap year. okay, leap year happens once every 4 years. हर 4 साल में एक बार होता है leap year. so that's why we get the concept of leap year from here. Okay, it is known as sidereal day. So what I was discussing is, just a minute. Okay, so I was discussing about geostationary Earth orbit. Okay, so this is Earth. Earth is completing one revolution around rotation around its axis in 24 hours roughly. ठीक है, तो अगर हम कोई सैटेलाइट इस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट में रखते हैं जो विच इज रफली 36,000 किलोमीटर्स, ओके, रफली 36,000 kilometers away from the surface of the earth, so this satellite will look like, okay, this satellite will look like कि it is there stationary, ठीक है, ये लगेगा कि ये सैटेलाइट कहीं मूव नहीं कर रहा है फ्रॉम अर्थ. इफ यू सी दिस पर्टिकुलर सैटेलाइट विल लुक एट द सेम प्लेस ऑल द टाइम. क्या होगा, हर टाइम पे उसी जगह पे दिखेगा हमें अर्थ से. if we are able to see that particular satellite from here, okay, if I see today, if I see tomorrow, if I see after 15 days, the satellite will be seen to be at a same place, क्योंकि ये जितने टाइम में रिवॉल्व कर रहा है अर्थ के चारों तरफ उतने ही टाइम में अर्थ अपनी एक्सिस में भी रोटेट कर रहा है, ठीक है. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नोन एज जियो स्टेशनरी, मीन्स लाइक इट सीम्स टू बी स्टेशनरी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द जियोइड. जियोइड मतलब अर्थ, ओके, अर्थ को हम क्या बोलते हैं, ठीक है, ये क्या है, GEOID, दिस इज द शेप ऑफ द अर्थ, ठीक है. तो अर्थ क्या है, जियोइड है. तो अर्थ से अगर हम इस सैटेलाइट को देखेंगे, दिस पर्टिकुलर सैटेलाइट विल लुक लाइक स्टैंडिंग एट द सेम प्लेस ऑल द टाइम फ्रॉम द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ. व्हाट इट सिंपली मीन्स, the satellites completes one revolution around the earth in the same time frame as the earth is rotating around its axis, ठीक है. this is one thing. इसका डिस्टेंस क्या होता है, 36,000 kilometers away. why this particular satellite is important, okay, tell me. So do you see any application of this satellite? What can be the application of this satellite? Everyone just tell me, like, what can be the application of a satellite which is placed in geostationary earth orbit? How can we use this particular satellite on our day-to-day life? How can we use this satellite on our day-to-day life? Everyone, please tell me. Tell me just one example, okay? Just one example कि हाँ इस पर्पस के लिए हम यूज कर सकते हैं. You just need to give me one example. टीवी के सिग्नल के लिए शायद, ओके, शी इज सेइंग टीवी के सिग्नल के लिए. दैट विल बी अ कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट, ओके. तो उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे, कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट, ओके. इंटरनेट, मोहम्मद फरीद इज सेइंग इंटरनेट. Climate monitoring, Savina is saying climate monitoring. Okay, any other ideas, you guys? If a satellite is placed in geostationary Earth orbit, like for what purpose we can use that particular satellite? What can be the application of this satellite? Okay, make guesses, no problem. I am going to correct you so that like you don't forget this particular thing in the examination. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so the thing is, I find the most appropriate answer from all of these answers is climate monitoring, okay, which is answered by Savina, okay, climate monitoring. Why? I will tell you, okay. So the thing is, for climate monitoring, what we do, we take pictures, okay, we take infrared pictures, okay, of a particular location today. We may take pictures after 12 hours, we may take pictures after 12 more hours, we may continuously taking pictures after frequent intervals, ठीक है. Why? So that we can monitor like how much climate is being क्या बोलते हैं, how much like this cloud is being formed over there, like so cloud formation होगा तो rainfall होगी. Are you understanding? If cloud formation is not there, rainfall will not be there, like that, okay. So this is the thing. So for monitoring the climate, okay, we use earth observation satellite. इस टाइप के सैटेलाइट को क्या बोलते हैं, अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट. We are observing the earth, okay, for the purpose of monitoring the climate, okay. Not only सिर्फ climate monitoring is not the only applicability. This is in general sense we will say it to be earth observation satellite. When we have to keep an eye on an area on the surface of the earth for a longer duration, frequently, time and again. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हमें बॉर्डर एरिया को देखना है if you want to see the border area regularly, okay, every time we have to monitor, because we have to keep an eye whether some infiltrators are, you know, crossing over the border and coming in our territory like that. So we have to do monitoring, that is known as earth observation satellite. So earth observation satellite हम कहाँ पे, यहाँ पे प्लेस कर सकते हैं जियो स्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट में, बिकॉज यहाँ से हम किसी पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन में अर्थ में हमेशा देख पाएंगे. वी विल बी एबल टू सी one particular location on the surface of the earth every time. Okay, so that will be an application for the purpose of border management. वहाँ पे क्या होता है border management में, we may require higher resolution cameras and all. If we do not have any higher resolution camera, तो in that case what we have to do, अगर मान लो हमारे पास बहुत high resolution camera है कि हमने 36,000 किलोमीटर दूर भी अगर रखा हुआ है कोई चीज़, ठीक है, कोई सैटेलाइट रखा हुआ है, वहां से if we are taking some pictures, we will be able to see that location clearly. Okay, so it depends on the quality of the, you know, cameras that we are developing. If the quality of the camera is very high resolution camera, if it is able to take pictures from 36,000 kilometers away, very clear images, if it is able to give us very clear images, we would like to place, you know, earth observation satellites in this particular location itself. Okay, but the thing is, for military purposes we need more precise location, more precise information. So most of the time those military satellites are placed in the low earth orbit, मतलब less than 1000 kilometers away from the surface of the earth. हम उसको कहाँ पे place करते हैं, low earth orbit में, and in that case their orbital rotation, their speed of rotation will be very high. ठीक है, यहाँ पे तो once we place some particular satellites in the geostationary earth orbit, they will be completing one revolution around the earth in roughly 24 hours. But if we place some satellites near the surface of the earth in the low earth orbit or medium earth orbit, so what will happen, they will rotate at a faster speed, so they will not be able to, the single satellite will not be able to give us, you know, clear picture, matlab picture all the time of the same location. So in that case we may have to place multiple satellites in the low earth orbit to actually monitor, okay, our specific area on the surface of the earth. Why we are placing? Because we do not have very high resolution camera. We have cameras that can have resolution up to 2000 kilometers, up to 1000 kilometers. So we are placing in the low earth orbit. In that case we may have to place multiple satellites over there. But if we have very high resolution cameras that can take pictures from 36,000 kilometers away or more than that, so in that case we may easily place a satellite over here, and that single satellite will be able to cover maximum area. Okay, it will be able to give more information. Are you understanding this thing? We are just conceptually discussing the thing. We did not go into the mathematics, physics and, you know, astrophysics of it now. Okay, so till now I hope everything is clear to all of you. Okay, now we will understand, we have understood what is geostationary earth orbit. Now what is geosynchronous earth orbit? Okay, what is geosynchronous earth orbit? There is a minute difference between the two. Okay, geostationary versus geosynchronous. Okay, geostationary versus geosynchronous earth orbit. EO means this is the thing. Okay, so what is the minute difference? Let's consider again. Okay, let's consider we have earth over here. Okay, we have earth over here. हमारे पास यहाँ पे earth है, ठीक है. अर्थ का मैंने बताया था, जब हम जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट में कोई सैटेलाइट प्लेस करना चाहते हैं, दैट पर्टिकुलर सैटेलाइट शुड बी एग्जैक्टली, ओके, इन द लाइन. कौन से लाइन? अबव द इक्वेटोरियल लाइन. ये जो इक्वेटोरियल लाइन है, उस इक्वेटोरियल लाइन के चारों तरफ उसका ऑर्बिट होना चाहिए. ओके, दिस इज इक्वेटर, वी कंसीडर दिस टू बी इक्वेटोरियल लाइन. इस इक्वेटोरियल प्लेन में होगा वो जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट. If we have some satellite, okay, if we have some satellite which is placed little tilted, okay, we have a satellite which is placed little tilted, but this is again placed 36,000 kilometers away from the surface of the earth, and, you know, maybe little higher or little lesser, but they complete one revolution around the earth in roughly 24 hours. This particular satellite was taking, okay, this was geostationary earth orbit, okay, this was geostationary earth orbit, and this satellite that we have placed over here, okay, this satellite is geosynchronous, okay, geosynchronous earth orbit. So what is the difference? There is only minute difference, is that this particular orbit is little bit tilted, okay. It is not exactly in the orbital plane, okay, it is not exactly in the same plane as the equator of the earth. It is little bit tilted, but otherwise it takes the same time to complete one revolution around the earth as the geostationary earth orbit satellites, ठीक है. ये satellite 24 hours लेते हैं, ये भी 24 hours लेते हैं, same time period लेते हैं, ठीक है. इसका मतलब ये है they have the same applicability, but the thing is हमें ये अलग अलग जगह पे, why do we need geosynchronous satellites and why do we need geostationary satellites? Why do we need to place those satellites in different orbits? Can anyone tell me why do we need to place satellites in geostationary earth orbit and geosynchronous earth orbit? What is the need? Any one of you who can guess? Like I told you what is the difference, okay, I told you what are the similarities. There is only minute difference, okay, otherwise everything is similar. Minute difference means this particular orbit is little bit tilted, means like it may have some angle, okay, angle of inclination, okay, this may be inclined to some angle, okay, but it is again, the satellites over here again taking the same time period to complete one revolution around the earth, okay. Can any one of you tell me, like, why do we need to place satellites in geostationary or earth orbit and geosynchronous earth orbit? Any idea? Okay, it seems no one has any idea about it. Okay, Amisha seems to have some idea on this. Think about application of everything, okay. Think about application, okay. So the thing is, science and technology, all the questions that you are going to see in science and technology, they will all be application based, okay. That's why it is very important for you to understand the applicability of everything that you are understanding. Okay, Savina says, sir, please repeat. Okay, so I'll be repeating in Hindi, ठीक है. So अभी क्या है, हमने देखा जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट और हमने देखा जियोसिंक्रोनस अर्थ ऑर्बिट, ठीक है. ये दोनों अलग अलग ऑर्बिट है. जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट में क्या होता है, रफली 36,000 किलोमीटर अवे रखते हैं अर्थ से, एंड ये 24 आवर्स के बराबर टाइम लेता है, ठीक है. एंड जियोसिंक्रोनस अर्थ ऑर्बिट में भी 24 आवर्स का टाइम लेता है, रफली सेम डिस्टेंस होता है, बट दे आर लिटिल बिट टिल्टेड, ठीक है. वो थोड़ा सा टिल्टेड ऑर्बिट होता है. सो व्हाई दे आर टिल्टेड, मतलब लाइक हमें व्हाट इज द नीड फॉर अस टू प्लेस सम सैटेलाइट इन जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट एंड जियोसिंक्रोनस अर्थ ऑर्बिट. व्हाट इज द नीड फॉर अस? I hope you understood this question. Okay, is the question clear to all of you? Just tell me, is the question clear? The question that I asked. Amisha, is that question clear to you? And Sabina? Okay, Amisha understood the question. That's a good thing. It is very important that you should be understanding the question. Everyone, just let me know if you were able to understand the question that I am asking. We have geostationary Earth orbit, we have geosynchronous Earth orbit also, but why do we need to place satellites in these two different orbits if they are taking same time period to complete one revolution around the earth, if they are placed at the roughly same distance away from the earth? Okay, Mohammad Farid, did you understand the question? Koteshwar Rao, you also please comment. Himanshi and Himanshu, you please also comment if you were able to understand the question, but you are like confused how to answer and all. You are doubtful about it. Okay, so many of you are typing. Okay, so I'll be seeing like who comments first. I'll be seeing all of you. Okay, Farid says yes, sir. Himanshu says yes. Koteshwar Rao also says yes. Okay, Himanshi is typing. So I think the question is clear to all of you, but you do not know the answer. That's the thing, right? So I'll be telling you. Okay, I'll be telling you the thing. Savina says, sir, please repeat. Okay. Himanshi, it may be located at different orbits to know about different locations. Okay. Question. Okay, that's all right. So Himanshi has answered it right. Okay, she has tried and she has answered it right. So definitely, where is India located? When we talk about where is India located, you'll get the answer. Okay. So if I draw the map of India, just give me a minute. Okay. So I'm not very good with map over here. What is the latitude and longitude of India? We discussed about latitude and longitude of India earlier. Okay, latitudinal extent, longitudinal extent. Okay, we discussed about it in our previous discussion. Okay, so everyone just tell me, if I write something over here, A and B, related to latitude and longitude, so A and B will represent latitude or longitude? Everyone just comment. Okay, if I write information related to latitudinal and longitudinal extent over here at places A and B, and over here at places, okay, related to place C and D. Okay, I hope like C and D measures this particular distance. Okay, and A and B will measure this particular distance. So if I write something, okay, at C, A and B, what it will be, whether it will be latitude or it will be longitude. A और B में अगर मैं coordinate लिखता हूँ, यहाँ पे coordinate अगर लिखता हूँ, if I write some coordinate over here at this particular A place or at this particular B place, so the thing is, will it be latitude or it will be longitude? Everyone. AB, okay, AB. Will it be latitude or it will be longitude? These are basic things, okay? So I'm just testing your understanding on some of these issues. Koteshwar Rao has written it is longitude. Himanshi, Himanshu, Muhammad Farid, they have answered it latitude. So it's longitude. So it's longitude from A and B. Himanshi says no. Okay. Okay. So I think many of you have, very it is doubtful for you to answer whether it is latitude or longitude. Okay. So the thing is, yes, Amisha.
सर आप क्या पूछना चाह रहे मुझे?
जैसे हम इंडिया का लोकेशन अगर हम वर्ल्ड मैप में देखें, इफ वी सी द लोकेशन ऑफ इंडिया इन द वर्ल्ड मैप और इन द ग्लोब, ओके, if we ask about latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India, okay, so the topmost place in India can be shown, okay, this particular line over here can be shown by some latitudinal or longitudinal information, A and B, and C and D can be shown with some latitudinal and longitudinal information. So if
सर ये जो आड़ी वाली लाइन है ना,
आड़ी वाली बोले तो ये वाली लाइन,
ये हाँ सर, ये वाली जो लाइन है ना, ये लेटीट्यूड है, और जो ये ऐसी सीधी लाइन है ना, ये लॉन्गिट्यूड है.
अच्छा, ये लॉन्गिट्यूड है, ये लैटिट्यूड है, राइट?
लैटिट्यूड. यस सर.
ओके, अमीशा इज राइट.
अक्षांश और देशांत सर.
Right. Amisha is right. Amisha has answered it right. Okay. So the thing is, all people who have answered latitude, okay, for A and B, they are right. Okay, Himanshi, Himanshu, and Muhammad Farid, they are right. and Koteshwar Rao made a mistake over here. No problem. Okay, so the thing is, this is how we understand. Okay, so A and B, these lines will show us latitudinal information. Okay, these lines will show us latitudinal information. Okay, latitude. Oh, just a minute. Okay, and C and D lines. Okay, C and D, latitude means will be represented by A and B. C and D lines will show us longitudinal information. We have discussed this particular thing earlier also. This is globe. The middle line is known as equator. It is 0-degree line. Okay, if we go north of the equator, we will be getting parallels of these lines. These are also known as parallels of latitude. Okay, these are known as parallels of latitude. And if we go south of this line, these are also known as parallels of latitude. Okay, so if we go northward, okay, whatever degrees we come, we may say it to be 30-degree north latitude, 45-degree north latitude, okay, or 60-degree north latitude, or 90-degree north latitude, like this. So 90-degree will be over here. Okay, 90-degree north latitude, like that. Okay, if we go south, they will be known as 30-degree, 45-degree, 60-degree, 90-degree south latitude. So these lines that are parallel to the equator, they are known as parallels to latitude, and they are latitudinal lines. Okay, so if I draw India over here again, okay, if I draw India over here again, just a minute. So the thing is that precision diagram cannot be drawn now. I'm just drawing India in a rough fashion, like that. Okay, so where India lies above the equator. India lies above the equator. It does not lie in the equator. Okay, so the thing is, Tropic of Cancer passes through India. कौन सा line pass करता है? Tropic of Cancer. Okay, Tropic of Capricorn does not pass through India. If we have a satellite that is placed, okay, that spelling is wrong, Farid. Okay, CANCER. Okay, so the thing is, over here, okay, over here India is located over here globally. कहाँ पे located है? यहाँ पे located है. If you want to place a satellite above, okay, in the geostationary Earth orbit, okay, so that may cover India to certain extent. But if we talk about some northern countries, अगर हम बात करते हैं रशिया का, Russia is at the north of India, like that. If they place a satellite in the geostationary Earth orbit, so that particular satellite may not be able to cover locations in Russia. It may be able to cover locations for India. So for India, it may be favorable for us to place a satellite in geostationary Earth orbit. For Russia, they will be placing a satellite in some other orbit that may be little tilted. ठीक है, जो थोड़ा सा tilted हो, जैसे जो geostationary Earth orbit है, हम मान लेते इधर है, ठीक है, like that. But they may like to place some satellite in the same orbit but little tilted, so that they can get some coverage from here, ठीक है, ताकि उनको थोड़ा coverage मिले. So that's the main purpose over here. Okay, so कुछ tilt होता है, but otherwise the time taken by the satellites to cover the thing is same. Okay, I hope it is clear, like why do we place satellites in geostationary and geosynchronous Earth orbit. This is the only thing, because we want to locate some other places. Okay, these are generally Earth observation satellites. These satellites are placed at very high distance. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, so मैंने आपको बताया, I told satellites may be placed at 160 kilometers from Earth, and they are placed at 36,000 kilometers away from Earth. So there may be some differences in the applications. So this is what we need to understand over here. Okay, अभी तक सारा, I hope like all of it is clear to all of you. Okay, so we have seen Earth also, we have seen these satellites. So just give me a minute, I'll be showing you some information from the slides. Okay, okay, we have already discussed about ISRO and all. We have discussed various things. So in our tomorrow's class, we may have a quick revision of all the topics that we have covered till now through the slides that I have made for you. Okay, so let us see these orbits. We'll talk about Gaganyaan, Chandrayaan and all later in our later course of discussion. Okay, so what are orbits? Earth orbits. So these are, some of the orbits are known as low Earth orbit. Then we have geostationary Earth orbit, geosynchronous Earth orbit, polar orbits and all. ठीक है, So we have discussed all of it in your free time. आप अपने फ्री टाइम में ये स्लाइड्स को आप देख लेना. आई हैव ऑलरेडी शेयर्ड विद द मैनेजमेंट, ओके, अबाउट दीज सैटेलाइट्स. आई अंडरस्टैंडिंग. सो दिस इज द थिंग. सो लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में क्या है, हमारे पास लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट भी हो सकता है, मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट भी हो सकता है, हमारे पास हाईली इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट भी होता है. ठीक है. सो लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में हम सैटेलाइट्स वो प्लेस करते हैं जो अबाउट 1000 किलोमीटर्स अवे होता है अर्थ से. ठीक है, लाइक दैट. ये जो रेड कलर का ऑर्बिट यहाँ पे दिख रहा है ऑरेंज रेड टाइप का, वो लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में प्लेस्ड है. ठीक है. ये जो ब्लू कलर यहाँ पे आप देख पा रहे हो, दैट इज फॉर मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट, लाइक दैट. ठीक है. सो दीज आर ऑर्बिट्स आई विल बी शोइंग. This is Earth and this is geostationary Earth orbit. You can see this is Earth, this is geostationary Earth orbit. ठीक है. So geostationary Earth orbit exactly कितने distance पे होता है? It is 35,780 kilometer. Okay, the exact distance is 35,780 kilometer. This is the exact distance, but it is roughly 36,000 kilometers. Okay. So it is roughly 36,000 kilometers. Okay. So fixed position of satellite related to Earth. ठीक है. अर्थ से एक ही जगह पे हमेशा दिखेगा वो सैटेलाइट. ठीक है, like that. So this is this is representation of geostationary orbit. Okay, geostationary orbit. ये वाला जो orbit है. And apart from this, you see this is Earth. This may be equator. And equator के just उसी ऑर्बिटल प्लेन में हमने किसी सैटेलाइट को यहाँ पे रखा हुआ है. So this particular satellite is placed in geostationary orbit. Where it is placed? It is placed in geostationary orbit. Is it clear? Is this diagram clear to all of you about geostationary orbit? Here they did not show the tiltation of the Earth. If Earth is tilted, so this geostationary orbit will also be tilted according to the equator. Okay, according to the equator. This is the geostationary Earth orbit. Okay. And having seen geostationary Earth orbit, हम जियोस्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट में टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट्स प्लेस करते हैं. क्या करते हैं? टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट्स प्लेस करते हैं जो रफली 36,000 किलोमीटर अवे होता है फ्रॉम द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ. ओके. सो इट हेल्प्स अस, इट गिव्स अस एडवांटेज फॉर रिमोट सेंसिंग दैट इट इज ऑलवेज व्यू फ्रॉम द अर्थ फ्रॉम द सेम पर्सपेक्टिव. ठीक है, अर्थ से सेम पर्सपेक्टिव से हम बार बार देख सकते हैं. It is particularly useful for observation of weather conditions. ठीक है, someone has answered earlier कि ये हम क्या करते हैं वेदर कंडीशन को देखने के लिए, like we use it. Climate monitoring. Savina had answered that thing. Okay, for climate monitoring या weather conditions. Climate क्या होता है? Climate is the long time average of weathers. ओवर 30 ईयर्स का अगर हम एवरेज लेते हैं किसी पर्टिकुलर जगह के वेदर का, दैट इज नोन एज क्लाइमेट. ओके. सो ये वेदर कंडीशंस को वो स्टडी करने में हेल्प करता है जियोस्टेशनरी. ठीक है. यहाँ पे टेलीकम्युनिकेशन पर्पसेस के लिए यूज़ करते हैं, टेलीविजन के लिए भी यूज़ करते हैं. सो समवन हैज़ रिटन फॉर टेलीविजन, दैट इज ऑल्सो राइट, बट मोर प्रिसाइज लाइक फॉर वेदर ऑब्जर्वेशंस एंड ऑल. इसके लिए ज़्यादातर यूज़ होता है. इट कैन बी यूज फॉर मल्टीपल पर्पसेस. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ द कैमरास दैट आर बीइंग प्लेस्ड इन द सैटेलाइट. ओके, दैट्स द थिंग. देन सो दे अपीयर टू बी स्टेशनरी, मतलब एक ही जगह पे हमें दिखता है. एंड हाउ मच टाइम डू दे टेक? 23 आवर्स 56 मिनट्स एंड 4 सेकेंड्स. इतना टाइम वो लेते हैं टू कंप्लीट 1 रेवोल्यूशन अराउंड द अर्थ. ठीक है, ट्रेवलिंग एग्जैक्टली द सेम रेट एज द अर्थ. ठीक है. यहाँ पे जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट में टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट्स हम प्लेस करते हैं. ठीक है. देन सैटेलाइट्स इन जियोस्टेशनरी अर्थ ऑर्बिट कवर अ लार्ज रेंज ऑफ अर्थ. सो as few as 3 equally spaced satellites can provide near global coverage. ठीक है. यहाँ पे अगर हम 3 सैटेलाइट जो इक्वल डिस्टेंसेस पे रखा हुआ है अर्थ से, मान लो एक सैटेलाइट यहाँ पे, एक सैटेलाइट यहाँ पे, एक सैटेलाइट यहाँ पे, these 3 satellites will be able to give global coverage for us. Okay. तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं, we have discussed about it. Okay. लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया है. ठीक है, जो बहुत क्लोज होता है अर्थ के, 160 किलोमीटर के पास भी हो सकता है, एंड एट मोस्ट इट मे बी 1000 किलोमीटर. सो फ्रॉम 160 किलोमीटर टू 1000 किलोमीटर में जो भी हम सैटेलाइट प्लेस करते हैं, वी से दो सैटेलाइट्स टू बी प्लेस्ड एट लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ओके. सो द थिंग इज what happened? So lowest low earth orbit is more than, now when we talk about commercial airplanes, जो airplanes होते हैं ना, aeroplane, these commercial aeroplane may travel at a distance of maximum of 14 kilometers. ठीक है, at most they travel at 14 kilometer above the surface of the earth. ठीक है, 14 किलोमीटर ऊपर तक. बट लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में क्या होता है 160 किलोमीटर होता है मिनिमम डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द अर्थ. सो देयर इज नो पॉसिबिलिटी दैट these aeroplanes may be hitting these satellites. ठीक है, ये जो एरोप्लेन्स हमारे उड़ते हैं, these aeroplanes will not be hitting any of these satellites whether they are placed in the low earth orbit itself, because low earth orbit minimum distance is 160 kilometer, and for these planes they roughly like travel at an altitude or at a height of 14 kilometer itself. So this particular thing is roughly 10 times. Okay, so this is another thing. So GEO must always orbit around the equator. We have already discussed International Space Station is located in low earth orbit. Okay, so this is the thing, and so the satellites in this orbit, when we talk about satellites in this orbit, they travel at a speed of around 7.8 kilometers per second. ठीक है, जो लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में जितना वो क्लोज होगा उतनी ही ज्यादा उसकी स्पीड होगी. A satellite which is placed very near to the surface of the earth will have more speed as compared to a satellite which is placed high above. Okay, so a satellite in the low earth orbit, like when we talk about International Space Station, it travels roughly at a speed of 7.8 kilometers per second. Okay, and it takes 90 minutes to circle the earth. So International Space Station travels around 16 times a day around the earth. That's the thing. Then individual low earth observation satellites are less useful for tasks such as telecommunication, because they move so fast across the sky, therefore require a lot of effort to track from the ground stations. जो वहाँ पे लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में जो भी हम सैटेलाइट प्लेस करते हैं, we place more number of satellites in the low earth orbit. Okay, because they travel at a very faster speed, so it is very difficult for us to track those satellites from ground stations. So this is you can see, like this is Earth, and we can have various satellites, various satellites that are revolving around the earth like this. Okay, this is known as constellation of satellite. So geosynchronous satellite. So geosynchronous satellite, if we consider this is geostationary orbit, so geosynchronous orbit will be having some tilt. Okay, tilt with the geostationary orbit. This is the only difference. Okay, I'll be showing that image also. Then medium earth orbit, we will talk about it later in our later discussion. Okay, so this is geosynchronous orbit. We already discussed about geosynchronous orbit. Okay, so it is 35,786 kilometers away. Okay, roughly from earth, and at any inclination geosynchronous orbit synchronize with the rotation of the earth. Okay, they take this much time, 23 hours 56 minutes 4.9 seconds, like that. Okay, and then telecommunication and other remote sensing applications are, मतलब इन satellites में whatever satellites are placed in the geosynchronous orbits, they are used for telecommunication and other remote sensing applications. Okay, remote sensing application like that. So this is, you can see, this is geosynchronous orbit. अगर हमें geostationary चाहिए होता, so we could have placed that particular orbit over here itself, like that. Okay, so I'll be showing a diagram to you. This is geosynchronous orbit, and we discussed about geostationary orbit. This is geostationary orbit. Okay, now this is the difference. Okay, this is geostationary, you can see over here. This is geosynchronous. Are you able to see the difference of the orbits of geosynchronous and geostationary orbits? Geostationary इक्वेटोरियल प्लेन में है, ठीक है, सेम डिस्टेंस पे अर्थ से as geosynchronous orbit. Geosynchronous just थोड़ा सा tilted है, it is little bit tilted. Okay, you understood this concept, all of you? Okay, so then we will talk about polar orbits also. ठीक है, एंड बिफोर दैट लेट अस टॉक अबाउट मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट. लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट के बारे में हमने बहुत डिस्कस किया, जियोसिंक्रोनस, जियोस्टेशनरी, ये सारा बहुत डिस्कस किया. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ये क्या होता है? मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट कंप्राइजेस अ वाइड रेंज ऑफ ऑर्बिट्स एनीवेयर बिटवीन, ठीक है, ऐसे orbit, all the orbit that is lying between, all the orbit. Okay, Amisha is saying my voice is not coming. Anyone else who cannot hear me? Is my voice coming to all of you? Just let me know. Yeah, it is coming. अमीशा आप थोड़ा अपने साइड से ट्राई करो, हो सकता है कि थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम हो आपके एंड से. Other people are able to hear. Okay, that's all right. So we discussed about low Earth orbit means a satellite which is placed anywhere between 160 kilometer and 1000 kilometer from the surface of the Earth will be said to be placed in the low Earth orbit. ठीक है, वो सारे सैटेलाइट जो 160 किलोमीटर से 1000 किलोमीटर अवे प्लेस्ड होते हैं अर्थ से, उनको हम लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट सैटेलाइट बोलते हैं. ठीक है, दो सैटेलाइट्स दैट आर प्लेस्ड 35,780 kilometers away from the surface of the Earth. Okay, they are known as geosynchronous satellites, geosynchronous Earth orbit or geostationary Earth orbit satellites. ठीक है, and इन दोनों रेंज के बीच में, ठीक है, between low Earth orbit and geostationary Earth orbit, जितने भी सैटेलाइट इन दोनों डिस्टेंस के बीच में रखा जाता है, दे आर नोन एज मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ठीक है, वो जो वहां पे जो ऑर्बिट्स होते हैं, दोज ऑर्बिट्स आर नोन एज मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट. ओके, सो मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट कंप्राइजेस अ वाइड रेंज ऑफ ऑर्बिट्स. ओके, यहाँ पे वाइड रेंज ऑफ ऑर्बिट होता है. यहाँ पे आपके 2000 किलोमीटर अवे भी हो सकता है, 10,000 किलोमीटर अवे भी हो सकता है, 15,000 किलोमीटर अवे भी हो सकता है. मीन्स यू कैन प्लेस अ सैटेलाइट 2000 kilometers away from Earth, 5000 kilometers away from Earth, 10,000 kilometers away from Earth, 15,000, 20,000 kilometers away from Earth. All those satellites will be considered to be placed in the medium Earth orbit because they are at an orbit higher than the low Earth orbit and lesser than the geostationary Earth orbit. So that's why they are named as medium Earth orbit, and they have a wide range of orbits over here. Okay, because they are anywhere between low Earth orbit and geostationary Earth orbit. It is similar to low Earth orbit in that it does not need to take specific paths around the Earth. Okay, and it is used by a variety of satellites for many different applications. Okay, यहाँ पे जो satellites हम place करते हैं, they are used for many different applications and all. It is very commonly used by navigation satellites. जो navigation satellites होते हैं, I have given you examples of navigation. So navigation satellites are placed in medium Earth orbit. Where they are placed? They are placed in medium Earth orbit, like the European Galileo system. ठीक है, that is placed in the medium Earth orbit. ठीक है, so they are helpful for tracking large jumbo jets. Okay, to getting directions to your smartphone. Smartphone में भी जो हम direction वगैरह पता करते हैं, वहाँ पे जो satellites placed होते हैं, those satellites are placed in medium Earth orbit. Okay. देन मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट को हम इंटरमीडिएट सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट भी बोलते हैं. ओके, मीडियम अर्थ ऑर्बिट इज आल्सो नोन एज इंटरमीडिएट सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट. ओके, एंड इट इज द रीजन ऑफ द स्पेस अराउंड अर्थ अबव लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट and below geosynchronous orbit. Okay, that's the thing. So this is only the thing that you have to understand today. Okay, so we have understood a lot of concepts today and I have shared this document with you. So what I expect from you that in your free time, okay, in your free time you should be going through these slides. Okay, so that if you have any doubt, any query, you can ask me in tomorrow's class. And tomorrow we will have a revision also of whatever topics we have covered till now, and we will cover some further things. We will talk about polar orbits, we will talk about sun synchronous orbit and all. Till now, any one of you facing any difficulty, कोई question है आपको? If you have any question, any doubt, you can ask me now. I'll be able to answer your queries. Okay. So today we wanted to discuss about orbits, Earth orbits and all. Yes. किसी को कोई डाउट? एनी वन ऑफ यू हैविंग एनी क्वेरी, एनी डाउट टिल नाउ व्हाटएवर वी कवर्ड टुडे? हर्ष, हिमांशी, हिमांशु, मोहम्मद फरीद, सवीना, कोटेश्वर राव. एनी वन ऑफ यू हैविंग एनी डाउट, एनी क्वेरी, you can ask me your doubt so that I can clarify. It is very important to understand these concepts, okay, easily. Many times after you read the document you may not be able to understand because minute differences are there between them. Okay, So every one of you says it is clear. Okay, so I hope like all of it is clear, but I expect you to read it once more. Okay, in your free time read it once more and let me know if you find any difficulty and all. ठीक है, कोई भी आपको प्रॉब्लम आता है, you just let me know. I'll be able to help you to clear those doubts and all. So I have shared these documents. So tomorrow we'll be talking about polar orbit, sun synchronous orbit, and we'll be talking about transfer orbits, geostationary transfer orbit and all. There are a lot of concepts that we will discuss further. Okay, I'm not taking today because like it will take a lot of time to make you understand this thing. Okay, but in the same slide I have like earlier things are also covered. जो हमने पहले cover किया है, आज के पीपीटी में आपको सारे टॉपिक मिल जाएंगे. ठीक है, यू विल गेट ऑल दिस टॉपिक्स इन टुडेज पीपीटी itself. Okay, so Sabina has asked me some questions. Okay, so Sabina, हम क्या करेंगे in our tomorrow's class? We will have a revision of the things that we have covered till now. We will quickly go through all these topics that we have covered, and then like if you don't understand anything, okay, like you may contact me like through our like we have some counselors over here. You may contact. I'll be able to clarify your doubts. ठीक है, Sabina, I have read your chat that you have written me privately over here. ठीक है, so we will cover all of these topics. Okay, that's all right. So that's all from my side for the day. Okay, thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. Okay, you will be getting this like PPT with you. So you read this PPT in your free time and let me know like if there is anything like that you could not understand. I'll be clarifying those things. Okay, tomorrow we will move little further. We will try to cover as many topics as possible, but it is very important you should be focusing on application part of everything that you are learning in science and technology. Application based है ये. ठीक है, कोई भी चीज़ हम पढ़ रहे हैं, what is the application, that is most important for UPSC. ठीक है, सिर्फ चीज़ों को पढ़ के याद करने से नहीं होगा. You should be able to apply that thing. Okay, like in your day-to-day life also. ठीक है, so that's all from my side. Thank you everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day. Okay, so with this I'm concluding today's session from my end. Okay, thank you everyone. I hope you have a good day. Okay, I'm just concluding today's session with this. आज बस इतना ही करना था हमें कवर. Okay, so you have a good day, Harsh, Himanshi, Himanshu, Koteshwar Rao and Savina. Take care of your health. Okay, be healthy and study more. Okay, study more, be healthy. That's the thing. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye bye.